on
Yeah.
for years to come with the history of
Hello,
Apex
Cass.
because it could be
Who?
one that makes the difference.
Hello,
when we look at what happens
hello,
going into
hello.
Sunday as well. We never know what will end up for Enter Force 36. Does mean we
Bentar,
are now
bentar ya,
moving to
bentar,
World's
bentar.
Edge though for maps 4 and 5. Great news for Alliance, who had #1 pick in the draft, and they went for
gini aja.
Skyhook West, so a chance for them to catch up the likes of Enter Force 36.
Yeah, had a lot of good positive results
Nah,
as well.
udah ya.
From Sky
Aman,
West, so
aman,
no
aman.
surprise to see them maybe wanted to settle down a little bit. One difference, of course, Alliance, you're talking about differences of maybe what happened in the groups and what happened before didn't get tried. This is the thing. It's the difference in POI that can make the difference. But I mean, I'm going to throw it to the desk now because I need to get you guys and girls input because it was one of the most ridiculous games I think we've ever witnessed at LAN, and I'm sure you guys have got an incredible amount of input to have.
Just think, good
Bro.
time to have a game like that. This is the moment, and obviously Interforce
Masih
playing
bacot,
with
Sok.
the crowd going hype
Gua
behind
kayaknya
it. One of
telat.
those moments you will never not remember
Telat
if you are
berapa
a part
game
of the
sih?
ALGS. Guys, great call as well.
Jing.
Onset and
Jing.
Gaskin bringing us back on the desk.
Tai lah,
We've got,
gua telat berapa
Jamerson, Jayhawk, and I'm
berapa
joined
match?
by the analyst of Team Falcons, Privacy. Welcome back, my friend. We've done a few desk segments together, and I'm happy to say your voice is good for this one.
It's very good.
He does so much talking all the time that we always have to tell him, just be ready for this moment. Honestly, what have you seen so far? Falcons 15 points sitting in. What's been your take after these 3 games, Privacy?
My take on my team is like the kind of a play we played a little bit like not how the game should be played. We should have been third beacon like every other team. Team like E36, they played it actually perfectly for this game. They played for a third beacon, they maximize their loot. They do it all the time by playing far from the edge and then Valk ults. We do kind of a similar but without a Valk ult with a trident. Bubble on the trident.
Yeah.
E36 is one of the teams that them and CR is one of the best teams.
Gua udah ketinggalan berapa match, anjing.
It's actually surprisingly
Berapa game? Tai lah.
Wow.
teams nobody knows about them. They are one of the best in a bubble fight. If you see in this game, they wiped Aurora, they wiped us, they wiped Liquid, they wiped TSM, they wiped all of these teams to win this game. I mean, for us was a little bit close. If we wanted, we'd have been maybe doing the same because that position was good.
Yeah.
They took this small spot because of the Valk ults. These are one of the 2 teams right now in the lobby that they are utilizing, playing Valk, and they are playing it really perfectly. Furia is the second team, but they are playing it really, I would say, in a little bit better than Furia, utilizing the Valk.
Wow. Let's look at that big win we just talked about. Mark and Dan said it was one of the maybe biggest highlights, biggest wins, biggest moments of
Cok, ketinggalan 3 match. Tai.
ALGS history. Certainly an amazing time to do it. Jayhawk, I mean, walking through obviously what Privacy is calling one of the best bubble fighting teams and their domination. This was a game that really set
What the fuck,
Interforce 36 up to get into match point finals.
Yeah, and here's the thing, I don't think a lot of people really expect this out of them, but at the same time, when they get to LAN, they've consistently made finals, and at this LAN so far, they've been popping off. The thing that was the most impressive to me was the different types of fights that they were able to win. They got ratted on against Aurora, they won that one. Like Privacy said, they had a great fight against Falcons, and they just steamrolled from there. They absolutely decimated this lobby in a like that we have not seen at this event so far.
I mean, going against Shopify.
Gua ketinggalan 3 match.
Privacy, Synap was a player that Graceful mentioned, thinking he might be one of the best anchors in the world. Do you agree with that?
This is actually one of the opinions of everyone from APAC North. Nobody in EMEA or NA knows him well, but APAC North, all of them says that he's actually the best player individually that improved in the last year.
Wow.
Yes, he is doing really great. His numbers and stats individually are really great, and all the APAC North talks about him very highly.
Synap on the map. Jamerson, this is a team performance that it's hard to not expect them to carry on with this momentum.
Kameramennya cepet banget. Langsung ganti-ganti.
Yeah, again, I think the problem that happened throughout the group stages is that we had a lot of other teams that did end up highlighting. But when we look at the bracket once again, it is very even across the board. Only a 40-point split or somewhere around there between our first place team in Alliance all the way down to Green Stego. So this is an incredibly tight pack. And it was just the standout performances that basically outshone everyone else. But Interforce showed that they can stand with the big dogs. 21 kills in a lobby of this caliber is almost unheard of.
I'm not lying, man. There's a lot of teams that feel active. Like, this lobby feels like people came to play. I mean, even TSM, GG, I'm looking at 100 Thieves. They seem live. Jayhawk, looking at these standings, man. Who's standing out?
Tipis-tipis semua, coy. Bedanya.
that's the thing. I don't, like you just said, I don't know if anybody individually standing out. When you look at the
Bedanya
placement points across all
tipis-tipis
these
semua.
teams, from E36 down to Falcons, so many teams have double-digit placement points already. Because so many different teams are getting into these end games.
match
What is the success, the factor that determines success the most right now as we head towards our last one in Storm Point? Is it going to be how teams handle those E-District maps? Do you think it's going to be the two World's Edge maps when we're only playing 2 of those? What do you think is going to be the difference that this whole set swings on?
It's gonna be to E-Districts because E-District depends on too much on a close quarters fights, and that needs a really good team structure in the fightings. So many, not every team in the lobby here has a good.
Bro, holy.
12 teams.
Ayolah, kelamaan bacot anjing.
On E-District, World's Edge, so many teams third picked World's Edge because it was a two games map. So when the POI draft happened, everyone just third picked it except for Alliance and TSM. I think they didn't know even that it was a two games.
Lack of information in that moment. A lot is happening. In fact, that POI draft can sometimes set you up for success. You want to join us for the one happening today?
Yes.
Okay, all right, we'll have Privacy back for that one as well. One of the most impressive things is this region, this passion, the pride that we're playing in APAC North. What would it mean for a team from this region to raise a championship trophy in Japan?
From Los Angeles to Mannheim, final destination Sapporo. We are ready to begin.
Ayolah bro, lama kali wa, anjing.
Have coveted to even join this place, this smoke, 40 teams, 3 players each at the championships for year 4.
Effect goes down, Alliance will fall. We win this game. Go, 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 go. Optic will fall. He hits the thing. You got that. You got it. It's Exit. It's Exit with the hostile takeover. TSM.
Aku fans TSM sejak lahir.
It's a huge moment for APAC North.
그때는 사실 처음 이겨보는 거라 사실 거의 실감이 안 나가지고 지금 기억도 잘 안 나는데 그래서 이번 삿포로에서 한 번 더 들어가지고 그 느낌을 다시 느껴보고 싶습니다.
Aku fans TSM sejak lahir. Hehehehe.
그거는 맞는데요. 제가 에이펙스를 그래도 대회를 여러 번 했잖아요. 몇 년 동안. 그때마다 항상 그 건파이트가 약하다, 매크로가 별로다, 판단이 별로다. 항상 그게 뭔가 마음속에서 뭔가 증명해야겠다. 약간 이런 마음이 좀 있었던 것 같아요. 그래서 이제 약간 이겼을 때 약간 보여줬잖아. 그러니까 이런 느낌.
e スポーツの歴史的にも多分ほんの数回しかないこの世界大会開催っていうところで見ると、
はい、日本語わかりません。
自分にとってとても特別なものです。
同じ国と頑張ってるっていうのをちゃんと見せれたらなと思います。
やっぱ自分の強さを証明するためのエゴで勝ちます。死ぬ気でやります。
何があっても乗り越えてみせる。やっと戻ってきたこの舞台。
チャンピオンになる気持ちを味わってみたい。
Bang, lama banget bang.
이 자리에 오기 위해 많은 노력을 했습니다. 제가 원하는 건 우승뿐입니다.
Nihongo wakarimasen. Hai. Lu ngomong apa anjing?
멋진 모습을 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 무조건 이기고 싶습니다.
Aku nggak tahu Korea.
自分たちが世界一になれることを証明したい。
Lapar cok. Lapar jing. Jing, gue lapar jing.
Fate is indeed calling, and I mean, you're looking at that little feature there. It shows how much it means to APAC North. It shows how much it means to have this event here in Sapporo in Japan, and all the teams know it as well. All APAC North teams and players, they want to make this an event that is remembered as having an APAC North winner. It's just, it lines up beautifully. It's such a big moment for everyone.
Well, there was certainly memorable match 3 on Storm Point from Enter Force 36 that gave something to scream and shout about in this audience here in Sapporo, Japan. But now
Enggak, itu 21 kill, Jing.
Edge.
mau setengah lobby, Cok. Udah setengah lobby sih. Enggak tahu lah, bodoh. Oke, POI. Ini enak nih, diperangin tuh. Apa Falcon sama itu? Apa namanya? Enter. Diperangin ya kan? Makin asik tuh. Lu perangin, Cok. Anjing lah. Ada kursornya nggak sih anjir? Kayaknya nggak ada. Udah, nggak apa-apa. Oke, match 4, let's fucking go. Come on.
TSM find points, will 100 Thieves or Alliance find points? Even Exoclan went with Harvester and Green Stego with Monument.
Match 4 is live. It's our first look at World's Edge here on Saturday. And the question is, these three gentlemen who are dropping over at Dome, by the way, is there any chance they can recreate what they just did in the last game?
Ayo. Perangin dah itu enter.
So much confidence now. Every single team fight was going their way. I think the only thing that could slow them down would be an early fight lost.
Apakah saya akan menjadi fans Enter Force sejak lahir? Hama.
How it goes as their looting path continues. By the way, Mozambique, the most dropped weapon so far in this tournament. Used
Nggak bisa dilihat ya mapnya dia.
Placeholder to have that shotgun ammo ready in your backpack, but then very quickly switched out
Nggak bisa,
for either a Peacekeeper or even an Eva Ray.
Nggak bisa dicek. Kayak apa nih?
Over to the west side a little bit north. Expected it maybe to pull to the north side of landslide here, maybe towards that drill tower.
Kok nggak hilang?
Indication of where it's going. I'm trying just to look under those names, see if
Nah, hilang. Thank you.
Could be the case that they don't, but they certainly are going to be looking to hit the vault, and that actually might not be the best idea because Exoclan are scarpering through this tunnel right now. You can just see
Falconnya kabur anjir.
might catch a member off guard here from Guild. It's going to be a good zone.
Naik ke lava. Naik ke lava sih itu. Ah, tai. Baru live. Halo. Thank you.
They're going to be pretty happy to see this.
Pretty similar compositions as well. Still a 25% pick rate for Catalyst.
Excellent KL.
Speaking of the vault tunnel that you were
KLD apa KLD?
Arriving late, and it's already been cracked open.
Yeah, it looks like Guild are going to have a good idea now where the zone is going, because otherwise why would Exoclan be coming this way unless they had a vault key, which...
Talon.
Also a small
kena bokong le.
E36 reminded even us that there's levels to good fighting.
Matanya apa sih? Shotgun.
Outstanding elite tier genre
Shotgun Scott anjir.
There's what Team Liquid Alienware were doing, which was pretty impressive itself.
Bro.
Towards Geyser, go next. That to retreat back down to Big Maud, where they're just going to have to hope they can craft and get back up to a full 3 once more.
Perang tuh sama Exoclan.
6th place in the moment, 21 points, and you mentioned it while they were fighting in that first game, in the last circle, excuse me. Phony with a point to prove. The previous LAN winner.
Ketahuan tuh ada Pakaloba.
Parted ways, if you want to put it nicer. But was able to join Guild. Can he navigate yet another victory here in Sapporo? Still a long way to go, but certainly being 6th place, good chance of getting to that finals lobby.
Just want to touch on the Phony story as well for maybe some people who are watching for the first time. Like you say, was part of the team, Space Station Gaming, that won Split 2 playoffs in Mannheim. Then got dropped, then couldn't
pakai controller?
Because they actually completely relocated his life to the other side of the world. To find players to play with.
Tadi Talon ketemu sama kok Talon sih? Liquid sama ketemu sama itu Fnatic.
So he really has put it all on the line to be here, to prove that point. And I got to say, I couldn't have more respect. You know, the utmost respect for.
Respect banget ya, langsung mundur. Gak mau diperangin.
Everything that went into it to be here and to prove yourself. I think it's something that everybody should take the hat off to.
Absolutely not easy to relocate and change your whole life. But maybe, just maybe, it will all be worth it come the end of Sunday here in Japan. Now Liquid Anywhere moving down out of Geyser. I don't think they're going to be picking up anything here. There was a possibility that Go Next would have already been rotating back and they might have taken another fight. They'll just have another look at Hyaka's death box, just added insult to injury. But Falcon's going to be rotating ahead of them, as are TSM up towards Fragment at the moment. Looks like they're going to try and move up a little bit further north.
So just to highlight on Guild, we saw them a little bit earlier inside the landslide. The only issue for them is there was no Evo harvesters near them whatsoever.
Bisa orang baru kah? Perang.
Having to essentially be forced to play the high ground just to get the Evo opportunities of damage output.
Skynet. Dar. Aduh nggak dar. Wih kena. Nice. Ya. Ayo. Jam rope-nya. Ayo jam rope. Bus dar. Virtus Pro-nya langsung lobicin. Langsung lobicin Virtus Pro-nya cuy. Aurora ketemu sama TSM. Respect langsung mundur. Habisin results dari apa namanya Aurora. Pintar. Pintar anjir.
Makes it more impressive that Alliance did what they did on the group stages as well. The fact that Hackett was really sick. He was really struggling, and he's tweeted out this morning. I saw him in the lobby this morning as well, the hotel, and he said he's feeling much better, which is great. Unlucky, I will say, looked like he just rolled out of bed, like he'd been awake for 8 seconds. But he's here.
Motor.
he's certainly performing like a man
Semoga ini.
who can't sleep.
Oh enggak.
E36.
Roll gue anchor cok. Kalau ngetim babil belakang.
They are just on a domination roll through of every team that they seem to come across. In terms of zone though, we're going to continue to see where this heads up. Mark thinks maybe the drill tower. There's a lot of people.
Ih, banyak banget tuh di lava fissure.
Disappointed if it does shift further east.
It's just the only playable spot.
Alamak.
Is going there. It's more traditional end zone, and everyone wanting to be close to where it is.
Ketemu tuh Falcon sama apa Liquid.
The only place
that
could play maybe is the tower itself, but it looks like Green Stego there, maybe the Vault Tunnel exit, but again, you could get wrapped and forced behind, you're walking into everyone.
Right? I mean, ramparts galore, you're just going to get absolutely destroyed by Sheila. So you have to try and move a little bit later. No Trident to work with to create any indestructible cover either. You can see Furia wrapping on that west side.
100 muter,
13th position.
flank.
Do have Valkyrie to reposition later as well. Still only the 2 Valkyries in the lobby, and one of them
Dapat Sovify sih. Sob. Itulah SR.
This kind of zone. Right? Yep. You can play it. You don't have to force anything. Play it late. You can even play the other, the eastern side, the monument side of the mountain range, and then send it in early. Essentially, where Noctum Esports are here, they do have next beacon information as well. Their in console has been hit, so they're going to know where that next zone is pulling. Probably why they're looking to play this side of the zone. That's the drill tower we're talking about. You see the finish just underneath that, around the sort of corners. Team Falcons moving through the Vault Tunnel towards Landslide. Guild still at Landslide, by the way. And Guild, if I'm not mistaken, Guild were playing Loba as well, so they're going to have a black market potentially available for them to help with the bad loot. Or was it, excuse me, someone else might have left one there, but Guild still there, essentially.
Now it's EXO playing the Loba, but they might have used the Loba from EXO yet. And I mean, it's a nice present to find. If a black market you just come across, and you're like, I can get as many cells as I would like.
Ketemu tuh, ya kan?
Usually leave with
a toothpick and a paperclip.
Pretty much.
Muter jauh. Mati kena zona kak.
TSM on the top of Grandma's.
Percuma dia Auroranya muter. Keluarnya udah dijagain juga. Nah, lo lihat itu tuh. Nih, ini udah kejaga coy. Jadi percuma. Go next.
all the way
Jing,
maybe towards
rusuh.
the train tunnel where Falcons and Guild are waiting on the other side in landslide.
A lot of teams staying far away from each other at the moment. As I say that,
Liquid.
Anywhere, of course. Who else would
Kita
be
siapa
trying
tuh?
to take the fight? I think it's Noctum that are on the other side of this.
Belakang. Kalau kena sandwich mending lu lihat belakang deh.
But I think Noctum were able to surpass Liquid Alienware and will just go through that choke.
Nah, tutup. Nah, lurus dah tuh depan sekarang.
A lot of playable space right now, but it very quickly disappears.
Oi.
Just letting them know. Just letting Team Liquid Alienware
TSM.
know TSM are in this position.
I still don't know whose idea it was to give Verholst a minigun. We used to call him the turret before the minigun was even used.
Well, something that's going to make TSM feel even better is a Mythic Bid, which is spawning right next to them as well. Green Stego might be thinking about extending to try and get that themselves, but it certainly is going to be available. Reps is having a little cheeky peek at this. It's a difficult position for this Mythic Bid, actually. It's like wrapped around the corner to the right of where Reps is shooting right now. I think that's why he's so desperate to force them away, because if they can get it, it's all red armors for TSM, and then they have that walk in on the quieter side, so to speak. I mean, you could see how important it is, but just as they probably thought we'd force Green Stego away, here comes
Ay, muter jauh banget itu enter. Oh, main placement.
Oh, they are both on top of that Mythic Bin.
Perang tuh Aurora sama TSM. Green Stego join, Liquid join, 5 join. Ayo, perang. Ketemu itu.
Oh, this northeast is going to get horrible.
In the water. Team Liquid being forced away. Verholst standing strong. Minigun in his hand. Gibeon going to go down. I think they've given up on the Mythic Bin because they're going to worry about Liquid.
I think Aurora were able to gain that Mythic Bin, and that's why they're not pushing up on this, because they were more than happy to grab it. But if time goes by, then TSM takes damage. Aurora might take a second look, as Enter Force 36, by the way, are rotating north. They're not going to be moving in on the area of TSM.
I think it was a Valkyrie coming in from E36.
Yep.
Kraber in the hands of 9 Impulse, so TSM probably ruining the fact,
the
fact that it's not just the red Evos they missed out on.
Kraber Chin.
It's the best gun in the game.
Hati-hati. Liquid. Valhurs.
Literal one.
Lu sendirian di depan.
Still alive for now. One is good enough.
Untung di backup, anjir.
TSM starting to get a little bit aggressive here. Maybe starting to worry that Aurora will be breathing down their necks if they do not do that, as the Dark Veil comes down and Liquid have taken a lot of damage. TSM really want to send this.
So they have to send this. There's only 5 seconds left on this zone. Reps locks on.
Nice.
Strongly with the Mastiff. TSM
nice.
control of this.
One more.
It's a 2v1, but Jaguaris is up on
Ah!
Makes it a 1v1, but there is Reps. Liquid Alienware will be eliminated. TSM
Mending mundur.
going to be able to reset
TP itu.
because here come Aurora. Bubble goes
Ih.
down though. The bubble is massive. It should buy enough time for at least a couple of cells to be popped.
Pop the Mirage ult and start to give them the wiggles. See if you can get some bamboozles on the go. Aurora, the only team playing Mirage, as 9 Impulse now. Will back off to join the rest of the squad.
A bamboozle.
Don't have a Newcastle wall to counter slam here either, so this is looking like a pretty comfortable fight here for Aurora. TSM.
Benci, Cok. Ah, TSM lobby, Cok, anjing. Oke, waktunya ngekarbit.
Aurora haven't been able to find as much points from World's Edge as the other maps, but if they can actually comfortably reset here and find a position
Ada
for
enter.
Newcastle wall, they might be in a
Dari mana,
really
anjing?
good spot for
Oh,
this
enter di
game,
atas.
and they have that Kraber to
Atas
work
bawah.
with, but at the moment, it is just a matter of trying to survive.
Survive they do. And even though Kajak was taking down that little rock that they were playing.
Wuh. Ayo, keluar.
Who's next?
Remix Powers. Gets his facial features remixed. Oh, it's 140 on the tower as well. 9 Impulse is rocking.
And most
Gendeng.
importantly, he forces them back. He forces them to not be able to do any damage to his team, and they can reposition and find somewhere to call home here. And the castle wall used effectively to create a mini base. And now
Masih ada 17 squad di ring berapa tuh?
Yeah, this spot is so good towards the end game as well. It's one of the places outside of the huge tower that,
Lu
by
lihat
the
tuh.
way, E36 are on top of now. The drill tower probably Valcoed onto that. We didn't quite catch that one. But Aurora
Hati-hati sih itu yang di atas itu. Nah, di atas itu hati-hati.
They've got red armors, they've got the Kraber, Gold Eva, literally fully kitted. Aurora could be on for some KP and big point game.
Well,
Mending nggak usah gerak, nggak usah bikin gerakan tambahan. Dah lu diem, lu jagain depan tuh. Nah dari situ lu jagain sama sono. Nah dari itu dia mikirnya kayak gue kemana ya, sini aja dah. Oke, mereka pakai itu faktor. Dia malah penatiknya malah itu anjir masuk ke perang, mati dong. Damu dipus. Penatik iyalah, lu baru drop terus disambut gitu mati cok. Ya dia nggak mau perang di situ. Bubble. Waduh, 100 mat kenok. C9 ngapain cok? Karena sandwichin.
Real estate on the western side, but there is still Shopify Rebellion just below them. Furia currently amidst a real
ada si orang. Kena net depan muka. Bete dah tuh ya. Di buff kah Mastiff baruan?
And Alliance should be able to clean this up comfortably, but Shopify Rebellion, if anyone can do it, is it two? You never really know. As now, GS, Green Stego, they were forced away from that position and they have wrapped round.
Wah, jelek banget itu Green. Berani maju. Counter strike. Catwall. Swap armor. Swap armornya lama banget. Effect. Enak banget itu. Tinggal bersih-bersih dah tuh ya. PR lu tapi di atas no. Alliance mati. Nah itu tuh yang di atas itu. PR lu di situ. Ai. Falcon hilang. PR lu di atas cok. Nah itu yang di atas itu tuh. Enak banget cok, enter. Rusuh dah ya. Yang di atas itu cok. Annoying anjir. Aurora tinggal bersih-bersih tuh. Tiga tim itu di sini. Bersih-bersih dari tadi. Ya ini mah tinggal tunggu aja. Nggak usah gerakan tambahan anjing. Sumpah gerakan tambahan mulu, udah diem.
If you allow opportunities like this to slip through your fingers, you have to ask, will you get another chance at it? As Aurora just slowly moving on the southeast. And I love this final circle. We've had so many historic moments happen here throughout ALGS. You think back to what Hardeki was able to do in a similar area as well. Well, Hardeki used to be a member of this Aurora squad. Maybe they can start to do what he did once.
Coba benci banget kalau ada itu.
Someone to point out as well, it looked like 9 Impulse dropped those, or used maybe the last couple of bullets from that Kraber. Swapped it out, he's now running double shotgun. He's got an Eva and he's got a Peacekeeper.
2 Valkyries in the lobby, 2 Valkyries in the final circle. Definitely worth noting here, and something that I'm sure the rest of the lobby is going to be keeping an eye on as we progress through this tournament with composition changes and.
Kalau mau lu hajar dah tuh, udah Aurora. Furiasa. EXO deh. EXO sama tadi apa tuh tadi? Furia ya? Furia apa apa? Ah ya, Furia sama EXO hajar dulu deh. Terus naik ke atas ini. Tower knock. Antar enak ini tinggal nunggu anjir. Nah, lu hajar dah tuh. Tapi susah. Udah enak, tinggal lu. Kebakar Chin. Cooking. Masuk. Oke, masuk. Nice. Udah, lu diem. Gak usah itu, gerakan tambahan. Lu diem di situ. Nah. Udah, lu diem. Udah, kasihan tuh apa Furia.
Aurora second place in the overalls at the moment. Already won a game. A little bit earlier on store point as Furia now will be one of the first teams who are forced to engage. E36 now have to drop. And with the way they were fighting in the previous game, it wouldn't surprise you if they
Ya udah, tinggal terbang gini anjing. Enter ah. Enter lagi nih mah. Wih. Aurora melan. What happened? What happened, so?
As they get 1 foot in the door to this grand final here at the ALGS Championship, as they push themselves back up to that.
What happened?
They are on 56 points now, which I have to imagine on set with how these points have been sponged up by teams right now should be enough to get. In the grand final already.
Ambil makan ah. Aduh, ambil makan dulu guys. Nah ya.
Aurora played it perfectly, able to get on that second floor, avoid the commotion down low, and then joining just at the right time.
Incredible stuff from Aurora, seriously. I mean, the first couple of games we've seen from them, well, the first couple of wins that we've seen from them today, everyone has been expertly navigated. And there's a couple of moments you always look back on, right? The fact that they cleared out the eastern side of that zone where TSM were, where Team Liquid Alienware were, and I think the timing that they got on that Mythic bin as well to give them those red armors, really important because the Kraber that also popped up out the back of that kept them alive. The shots, remember, that 9 Impulse hit as they were trying to rotate in from that little ridge line is what kept them alive and managed to let them reset for that end game. Really, really well done from Aurora. 12 points from the placements, 10 kills is going to give them the 10 points and 22 points in the bag. And like you say, they got 1 foot in the finals.
Well, End of Force 36 also may have 1 foot in the finals as well. A second place finish, no kills, but 9 points on the board, job done. They utilize Valkyrie's Skyward Dive, they get on top of the drill tower, and then also use Valkyrie in that final circle just to stay out of all the madness and play for second place.
Yang tuh si itu enter. Ternyata nggak anjing. Pakai bangsat.
We'll just take second for now. It's always felt decent of them. They were like, do you know what? We got a lot of kills in the last game. You guys
gua matiin cam.
play the game. Aurora top of the series. As you can see in our series
Matiin
results,
cam dulu,
in winners round 1, 56
ya kali gua makan
points
sambil
already inside 4 games as we hit the halfway point. Enter Force 36, like you mentioned, just behind them on 49, but I always have to look who's holding down 10th spot. And what is the chasing pack behind that? Because the top 10 are the ones that qualify for the match point finals. ExoClan at the moment just about holding on level on points with Gaming Gladiators.
And whilst it doesn't always work out this way, but when you're halfway through, you look at how many points have been accumulated at the halfway spot. It was 20, so that would give you an initial number of maybe 40 being the cutoff. Of course, it doesn't always work like that, but that is an easy way to try and give yourself an idea of where it may be in Some of the bigger teams are down in that bottom 10 though, so it is a little bit worrying already. This is when the nerve starts kicking.
Yeah, it certainly has been an incredible first 4 games. It's been really interesting to see some of the end zones that we've had to experience as well. Some of them a little bit built up, but quite a lot of open ones, to be honest with you. And I think there's a lot to take away from those first 4 games. Of course, we've still got some stuff to go. We've still got some matches to come. 4 of them as we hit the halfway point. Don't go anywhere. We've got 4 more matches coming your way in just a few moments.
4 match, gua nge-yaping, Cok. Bayangin anjing. Empat match nge-yaping, Cok. Tai lah. Istirahat 1 menit. Ngapain anjir, gua makan baruan.
Battlebeaver, the official controller of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Warida. Cukup.
Herman Miller, the official chair of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Aduh. Duh, bayangin coy.
Парни. Да, как обычно. Бабл пройдет сейчас, смотрите, я защищаю. Вверх, Кирюх, вверх. Бабл дал. Под нами стреляют. Да, я бабл дал. Все, вверх сейчас упадет, смотрите. Не надо падать, парни, я падаю. Касл. Еб убил. Касл убил, ласт. Поставься куда-то там. Убил еще одного. Меня ёбнул. Сзади, парни, на мне. Держу тебе щит. Нету больше. Ласт. Я умер там. Хорош!
Welcome back, everyone, to the winners' first round. My name is Dia, and I'm joined by Graceful in Daiwa House here in Sapporo, Japan, for the ALGS Championships, the biggest ALGS Championships the world has ever seen. And if you've been watching since this morning, you've seen an incredible show go down, not just actually in Apex Legends, but even before that, when we had Sim performing the very first anthem of the Apex Legends Championships.
I mean, seeing the band playing those 2 songs was phenomenal. Not only that, but also getting these 2, seeing these early series was great. All these pop-ups, we saw the biggest kill game in the entire tournament so far. We saw other teams outside of the ones that everybody was kind of assuming would do really good, enter 36.
Enter Force 36 looked like a very different team than we saw in the group stage. And I say that not because they were poor in the group stage by any means, but because they weren't that dominant. In fact, I was actually looking at teams like Noctem today to wonder whether or not they would be continuing the group stage monstrosities that they became during that time. But instead, we're starting to find other squads that are stepping things up. And in Winners Round 1, I'd say there's no more important time to do so. Because for many teams, this can be the last time that you play before finals on Sunday.
Yeah, most definitely. And like I said before as well, and I think they brought it up on the desk, that Sign Up for me has been my MVP so far. And seeing not only teams step up, but individual players stand out from the crowd, because a lot of the times, you know, we tend to talk about the team as its whole, but when we see individuals step out and do things for the team, and it's not always, a lot of the time it's almost always the fragger in a sense, because that's the most flashy, I would say, role. But now seeing Synap, you know, kind of playing the mid, like in the middle, and also anchoring a lot of the time, doing such a
aku makan banyak banget anjir.
breathless backstage.
Yeah, there's been a lot of space for different skill expression in this meta, especially with Newcastle. We've talked about Newcastle quite a bit, but the flexibility
ini gua nggak bikin apa sih? Subscriber only apa enggak? Enggak kan? Ngobrol aja, coy. Ayolah.
But you also so often have Newcastle's being that very aggressive player that has to take the front and center of a fight, because they're opening things up now with the castle wall.
Yeah, and the coolest thing in regards to role is that due to the fact that it's double support meta, you know, and triple support in rank, is that although we've had defined roles before as a frontliner, as the anchor, now in this meta it's kind of like, sure, Newcastle wants to go down last because he can actually rest while still participating-ish in the fight, but you're kind of like interchanging roles all the time, and that's so interesting to see, because hey, normally it's just the front line going in, when they're low you step up a little bit, but now it's actually like, no, I will eat the first shotgun shot for you, you step in for me, and then we keep rolling this, you know, you keep trading damage in between all of your teammates rather than just having one guy taking all the pressure. Now it's just like you're getting triple swung by triple mastiff in bubbles, and then like random Sheila comes out of nowhere, and then like somebody goes down and they get dressed, everybody starts healing. It's chaotic in a good way because it's very entertaining to watch. It might be a little bit hard to tell in all of the fights exactly what's happening, especially when there's 4 bubble on the screen, but like nonetheless, I don't think we can dispute it. It's very entertaining.
You know, speaking of Sheila, even Rampart play has evolved pretty significantly, which is weird,
ya.
this
Kita cek Wikipedia dulu.
Pretty one-dimensional.
Terus kita ke
Apex. Specific thing. But at the start of the tournament, I mean, we were seeing Ramparts just blow through people with Sheila all the time. It was every team fight was a clip of somebody with the Sheila, specifically Verhulst and Koifel, who have been going wild.
Yeah, and the Sheila specifically as well. We've seen people already like grow as a ramp player in this tournament. How many times did we not see in the early series where a ramp would pull out the Sheila instead of the shotgun in bubble fights and get punished for it? They're like, oh, I'm gonna rev up, and then they're dead.
Ini yang sekarang. Loser ini kan belum, nanti habis breakout ini langsung ke loser. Terus yang 10 ini
I saw somebody start with the Sheila.
nanti lawan di sini, lawan 10 ke bawah ini.
And then actually did work with the Mastiff, and I'm like, that's a player who's gotten punished enough to
Ini udah pulang,
the
coy.
shotgun is actually better in this scenario. And when you're that aware and you're learning from your mistakes, you know, the sky is the ceiling, really.
Poin ke 1, ya kan. Placementnya lumayan. Mau nggak mau lu harus itu apa perang, disuruh perang aja. Ini juga sama. Finalnya kapan? Besok.
An E-District, I keep talking
Jam
about
10.
It's growing on me. It's growing on me. Could also be because we've been playing World's Edge for forever. It feels like at this point an eternity. But
Setengah 2-an lah ya.
However, has been wonderful.
Nobar nggak, coy?
Nobar
lagi nggak, coy?
Feels great.
Tapi ada ini match point eligible. Nobar lagi, ya kali nggak nobar. Oke, udah mulai.
Starting off this fourth match. Remember, our final time on World's Edge for these teams. For some of them, the final time on World's Edge before they see each other on Sunday.
Yeah, indeed. I think that we're gonna see a couple of teams bounce up and down due to the fact that, you know, sure, the last game was kind of a tight match overall across the board with points. It's kind of even actually in this series, but I think now that we're getting to this point in the tournament, it's the same thing I said yesterday. Once you hit that close to the 6 games match, everybody gets tensed up, everybody gets stressed. You start throwing Hail Marys for something to stick. And even yesterday, we saw tiebreakers. We saw teams like Team Burger just made it into top 10. I think everybody, it's gonna be ecstatic.
And there are teams that are really adapting to the pressure, maybe to the change of quality in these lobbies as well. Aurora really standing out. Of course, but statistically even, it's backed up. Aurora have been looking really good in terms of damage differential, from negative 7,000 damage dealt in ratio to how much they took during the group stage. They now are dealing on average positive 3k damage. They're doing a wonderful job, and now playing out of survey camp, they've also got a great increase in KD that has followed that, jumping them up to an average of 4 KD per match in the winners round 1. Let's see if they can keep that up, as they do have a zone closing pretty close to them. TSM over at Climatize are going to have an easy rotation as well. Alliance at Skyhook is going to be really interesting to watch, as they could choose to early rotate, but I would be very surprised to see Alliance do that.
Alliance and Aurora right next to each other once again. It happened in the series as well, where both of them were actually in the top 5 almost all the time.
Udah perang aja tuh.
Go next here. This rotate is one of my least favorite on this map, because you always fight teams on these chokes. You know, the choke has slopes on 2 ways, so you can't really tell if somebody's trailing you behind you, and then you don't know if somebody's in the opposite choke right next to you, which they could just 3-pit a fight if you do end up, you know, going for a fight. And it's just something you have to be aware of. It seems like both teams are aware.
Rusuh banget ini. Apa? Tambahan itu. Anjing, iklan tai. Dapat.
Where they are often finding kills, I think most notably on Fnatic during the first couple of games.
Yeah, Fnatic was definitely struggling the first couple of games, but, you know, they can always make it back. A lot of the teams that, you know, we tend to look at always has that X factor to them. They could at any point just awaken and steamroll, and I mean, we saw it with several teams yesterday. Even LG was Falcons had a little bit of a slow start, and then all of a sudden, boom, they became super consistent, like we all know they can and should be. And that's kind of the thing at this. Everybody's adapting to the pace of the lobby. You know, they're adapting to you know, how is everybody's macro doing, how are people fighting. And I think that they're kind of used, like we said before, different stages of the game. And it looks like, to me, Aurora is more than confident in this level. You know, at this stage of the tournament, they're like, this is exactly how we know it plays out. This is why we're winning. This is why we're killing so much. And E36 as well, specifically. Their 3Ping and team fighting and bubble fighting so far has been crazy good.
Yeah, timing is everything for especially the kind of play that E36 have been giving us. We do have a short match pause so far, so we will be waiting to get that resolved so that our players can continue in their second World's Edge game of the day. It does look like we're going a little further north. We were looking at the zone earlier, Graceful, and this one will be bringing us, as we said, over near where Aurora were at survey camp, maybe a little bit further south over into that epicenter monument area. But we've got plenty of teams that are going to be around the south end of the map as well. Gaming Gladiators and Enterforce 36 both sitting around the dome.
Yeah, I mean, for me, these zones are kind of scary because this is one of the most typical, even if you don't have a lot of edge teams playing in this lobby and this match specifically, a lot of people tend to take edge teams' tendencies. And one of them that I'm thinking about specifically is that since this is collapsed around the northern platform, where a lot of people call grandmas, I like to call those houses with the branch mechanic, teams tend to rotate through Skyhook up the choke really late, even when the zone is closed, like in 2 zones closing even, like Circle 3 closing, Circle 4 closing even, you can still medkit that. And the scariest part is that you are never sure when your side is clear. One of the coolest thing here, though, is that I saw that Aurora is actually rolling with Mirage, you know, enabling you to get everything, all the perks is crazy with, you know, with his newest perk added to him. And that could be very beneficial. Alliance, like always, we saw from Skyhook playing very slow, very calm. Will be late, but will even they be ready for the next team? That will, I will assume we'll see at least 2 more teams rotating through Skyhook, and the collapse that normally happens on the, you know, on the west side of the map or even on the southern side of the map, this will actually focus more towards the north, I believe.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And I want to touch on the Mirage pick for Aurora specifically as it relates to their play style. I mean, this is a team that we typically see trying to get triple reds as fast as possible and then go and farm other teams. And especially when you've got Mirage and the ability to make use of all class passives, you also have so many more avenues through which to get Evo.
Yeah, and this is one of the biggest things that I love and I hate. So for me, I feel that, you know, when you build Evo, it should be some type of risk and reward. Back in the day, we used to have higher requirements to Evo upgrade, and the only real avenue to get Evo was damage. Now, you know, we have several avenues, like you're saying. We have beacons, we have ring consoles, we have a brick in the crate that might come down, we have from resting, we have from, you know, there's so many different ways you can get level up on your Evos, and when you add Mirage on top of that, as you get everything, yeah, they're gonna level up real quick. My question is now, how long are they gonna stay in the zone? Because they know, I think both Alliance and Aurora know specifically that are playing on the same side on the map, Edge, is that they're both out there lurking. So how long do you want to stay? Because we saw them clash in the previous, not the previous, but earlier series, where when you're right next to teams with the same playstyle, it's gonna be rough. And we see it on the opposite side of the map as well with Gaming Gladiators and Enterforce 36. They're playing the same macro.
You can tell that Graceful and I are very excited to get into the game, and as much as I want to keep breaking this down, I am going to give our players a chance to you know, continue working things out and hopefully get back into the game soon. While we wait, however, we have this special opportunity to catch Ryan as he spoke to some of the fans earlier in the audience later. Now, I don't get the privilege of speaking to many of the fans here because I don't speak a whole lot of Japanese, but that is something that is not holding Ryan back. So let's hear from our fans here in the Sapporo Dome.
What does it mean to you personally to have the ALGS Championship represented here in Japan, in Sapporo, Hokkaido?
So like I'm Japanese, and then having my team in here, like it's so precious for me. And then it's first time ALGS coming to Asia, and I'm so like proud of it as Asian, and I'm so happy about it.
This is my first LAN game, esports LAN tournament I've ever been to. There's like so much around
Makanya kau kayak sing-sing.
like this. And I've never met any players in real life, and like players are super nice as well.
Makanya kayak sing-sing.
すごいかっこいいんですよね、フディが。手に入れてどんな感じなんですか？
最高です。いやもう一生の思い出です。
ですよね。So I asked him about his hoodie, and he is absolutely over the moon that he got to get this, and he said it's a memory that's going to last forever.
私も50今6なんですけど、3年前からやってて、でも全然下手っぴなんで勉強してます。はい。
わかりました。ありがとうございます。So yeah, she's been playing for 3年間も 3 years. She's been playing for 3 years, and she's really into the game, and she's just exhilarated to be part of this action. で、ALGS チャンピオンシップが札幌まで来て。どう思われますか？
いや、自分は北海道に住んでるので、とても最高です。楽しいです。はい。
So he's absolutely over the moon. He's from Hokkaido, so having ALGS Championship here is absolutely a dream come true for him. I'm going to let these two get on and get their
Where the fucking subtitle,
really
bro?
And I'll see you guys for the next one.
Subtitlenya mana, Cok? Enggak ada subtitle.
Very nice to hear from the fans around the arena, Graceful. I mean, I know you've actually been popping out and interacting with some folks as well. So it's going pretty well out there, right?
Oh yeah, the fan zone is incredible. You know, I've almost feel bad running around too much and just, you know, interrupting people because they've been enjoying themselves so much, really. You know, taking photos. There's the cool heirlooms out there, all the booths, all the, you know, getting to meet people. Meet and greets are out there as well. It's just, you know, gaming brings us together, Apex brings us even closer, and now when you get to share the culture and stuff as well, this is my first time in Japan. It's been, all of them are so kind. It's been phenomenal.
Where did you find the ice sculptures? You said there were ice sculptures.
Okay, so my wife saw the ice sculpture. I haven't seen them personally in real life yet. I wanted to do it today. Apparently they're outside somewhere, and I saw photos of Lifeline, I saw photos of Valkyrie, and I believe Octane, but they looked great. And it was cute lighting and everything as well.
Okay. Because I was actually walking through the Sapporo downtown area yesterday, and I saw some ice sculptures that they were making there, but none Apex related. So I'm glad that we've got some Apex related ones to be brought out here, just so that everybody can enjoy. Also, I saw the line to get in this morning. Did you see that?
I saw it. It was the longest line. This is the first time I've seen this many people at one spot in my entire life, but that line, I'm not gonna lie, I would have gone home. I cannot stand there for that long. It was hella cold as well. No, it was, you know, everybody's happy to be here. I hope everybody got in one piece, that they got their snacks, that they got their drinks, that they're ready, you know, for us to hop back into the game, because I really want to get as fast as I can as well in.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I think everyone got in okay, because I don't think we could fit a single soul more into some of these seats. There are so many people, and it's been wonderful hearing, especially when we have like Enterforce 36 finding their 8th third party in a row. The energy that the crowd is still able to give as they celebrate the teams that are able to perform here in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, the energy today is different from the other days. There was nothing wrong with the other days in Sade. It was more late game oriented.
Yeah.
But now the energy has been from second, like the game starts, the energy is already there. Every single fight, you know, on edge, the energy is there. And seeing those clutch moments, woo! It's something else. You just gotta be here to experience it. But I hope, you know, even at home, people get to experience somewhat of what we're doing.
We've got a look at some of our team's positionings, since we were talking about that earlier. So it seems like Graceful will have the chance to discuss a little bit more.
Bro, masih ada 4 match.
Inside this
Beda
game.
apa? Ya nggak apa-apa
It
sih.
is, like I said, a game that
Gitu dong.
on World's Edge does have a lot of familiarity. Should also mean that a lot of our teams are
Akhirnya.
pretty set on how this game is going to play out. You already know World's Edge, you've seen it all before, and so at this point, I'm anticipating that we continue pulling over towards Monument. This doesn't seem like it's going to go over towards Epicenter, although there is the outside shot that we move towards this sort of Shopify Rebellion area. Maybe not that far, but in that direction.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could even...
Belum kah?
There's plenty of zones in that upper area, but
anjing
the
masih
biggest thing that
post kok.
I, you know,
Main
can see
HP
right
lagi.
there was that a lot of the teams are mirroring each other's macros, and that's important. And I think, are we also seeing it? It's about to happen now. I think the games have started. I pressed my start button, chat. I pressed it. That's why we're back. We back now.
Oh no!
Immediately into a fight. Fnatic coming versus Liquid, like we said, they're on the same macro. Huge slam comes down, nades comes down, huge rest from Newcastle.
Kasihan sih itu Liquid.
Is showing signs of life, Theo.
Now coming back to strike at Team Liquid, who took him down to 14.
Woo!
Out in 20th to Fnatic.
Hey, out in 20th or not. Go
Kasihan sih itu Liquid.
Like I said,
Bad mood dah tuh ya.
and now Fnatic got caught in the back, not
Mending
really
kabur, itu
aware
udah ada
enough or
TP.
reset it fast enough. Now they're running away to make sure that at least one of them gets out to hopefully get the reset.
One of the unfortunate things for Fnatic is that they are
Udah
not
kabur ya kan,
alone, not
terus
just because Go Next are running at them,
Lu
but because you've got
nge-craft dah.
Aurora who are rotating down from the north as well. So I like that Meltstar is playing quiet, hoping to avoid attention, as we do still have plenty of teams on the hunt. Now it looks like Virtus Pro, starting off a fight of their own, are going to be sat in Monument, making their way
berani
through.
dong.
It seems all right for Virtus Pro, but I'm surprised that Fnatic are getting to walk back for this.
Yeah, they tried walking back for this, but now Falcons is also joining the fray. They're saying,
Nggak
hey,
jadi,
loot
udah ada
boxes, let's go
Falcon.
get that. Interrupted the pace a little bit of the
Udah mending
Fnatic members
kabur.
still stuck in Overlook. I think they split
Lu
it up
kabur
just to say,
jauh,
hey,
terus lu
hopefully one of us
itu.
gets a chance to reset. But it's going to be a tough one.
Imperial Hell experiencing
Wah.
neuron activation.
Why? Green
Few
Stegonya
shots actually
udah
got
lo
thrown towards
bikin.
Falcons, and it was Go Next finishing off Yuka F from Fnatic. Green Stego and Virtus Pro gonna go down. We saw that fight happening a little bit earlier over in Monument, so that'll be the end of that, and a little bit more on top of all of it.
Yeah, I mean, we also still see in the center of the zone right now, there's plenty of teams playing there. We saw some opted out from playing early on. I would like to believe because of the different stages in the tournament where people are saying, hey, early game didn't work now. Now that we're more familiar with this lobby, early game might work again. But we still also see that shift, like I said before, towards mid-game speed, where they want to wait until Circle 1 fully closes, grab the next ring
nggak enak
console,
banget
and
ini
then
posisi
they
Fnatic.
make their way in. Because nobody, and I say nobody likes all-inning one specific building, the zone pulls us off of them, and now, you know, you're getting gate kept by everyone.
Nggak, itu lu keluar dari situ ketemu Falcon.
A survey beacon special, and unfortunately,
Kalau enggak lu perangin dah tuh apa namanya Falcon sama Go Next-nya itu.
whatever was going on in
bikin
Overlook. I
perangnya
think
kan.
they saw the survey beacon being
bener,
hit as
dibikin
well.
perang aja.
Meltstar is secret Asian Meltstar.
Nggak ngeliat Falcon.
Looking at him because I guess
Oh my god!
from the zone and they were looking that way. I'm happy though that he got out. You know, it's a little bit scary, but hey, he got lucky. Nice.
Using the Invis as well. That's a good time to take a pause, honestly. I'm sure it had nothing to do with what we just saw, but that's a good time to take a pause. Go Next, getting really aggressive using the survey beacon as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think now that they're, you know, They made sure that I think they caught off the other player, right? They caught up to the other player. Yes.
Yeah, they got Yuka.
Yeah, they got Yuka. They were like, for sure, he's still here because we didn't see him. Like, so they were still looking for him. Managed to find him, and hey, that's just how it go. I see here.
That's the look of a man.
Go next. They are locked in, and they're just saying, how did we miss him? Why are we pausing? Next time we go in, we are chasing them down. Yeah. That's their thought process right there. The sign, looking very comfortable while being uncomfortable.
Yes, indeed. I couldn't have said it better. Let me shake your hand for that one. That was a gentleman's reference. I don't think they're selling the flags here. I remember when they sold the flags.
Yes, they were great.
That was very nice. Now go next. We're chasing down Fnatic like we talked about earlier. Falcons actually just sat in that whole area, but that's all the way off to the east of the ring. Looking over at the western side, we haven't seen too much of it. I want to remind everybody that that's where Alliance is going to be coming from. Moving out of Skyhook, Alliance are absolutely a team that we're going to be watching for throughout this game, and 100 Thieves are starting to move out of Countdown as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the east side of the map. We talked about north earlier because both teams playing up north are just playing really, really, really slow. So, you know, that's just going to be like that for another 2 more zones. West side of the map, like we said, 100 Thieves and knock them on the same side of things. Will they meet each other on their macro? But south side on the things, Enter Force 36 and Fury are kind of slipping apart now, but they're still coming in from the same side. Where will they rendezvous? Because at the center of the map, there's like 10 teams just sitting there in the buildings. At some point, you're going to have to fight on the edge, and at that point,
Main satu production.
who will 3P is the real question, because we've seen so many 3Ps, and I'm all here for it because it's so much fun.
You know, Fury
Bang,
is a
masih
weird
ada
team
4
to
match,
talk
Bang.
about, not just because
Alhamdulillah.
I've been tracking them all
Let's
day,
go.
but because they're
Match resume.
moving out of the south side of the map, and it looks like we'll get the chance to check in with them as well as everyone else as the match does come back to us. So,
yes,
back here in match number 5.
Back in it.
Back. Meltstera still alive, guys, still alive.
Still alive indeed, running with his Mirage Trophy in
Dah tuh,
hand.
lu perangin dah
I
tuh.
still hope we, at some point in a LAN, get to see the pork chop come out you know, on the melee. That would be really cool. Meltstera hopefully looking to reset somewhere on the southern side of the zone. Perhaps Geyser, we'll have to see, as he's rotating towards it right now. Hopefully Fury and Enter 436 might pull into a fight here. Hopefully none of them rotate towards the east side to where Fnatic can reset in peace, because after that hard work of running straight into Overlook, hiding for another how long in Overlook, and then getting out, it would be very sad if you get caught one more time.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to make it. Finding a respawn beacon, maybe not going to be the most difficult thing since you do get a Moby, but a place to put it and a time to do it could be evasive even for the Fnatic roster, as out of Geyser is not exactly the optimal place. Now Alliance have made their emergence from Skyhook, playing outside this cave right now, and it looks like Go Next are starting to take some fights as well. Long range they may be.
Look at this weapon. Casey indeed. This select charge fire is crazy because you shoot at the speed of essentially a wingman, but the craziest part is you have nowhere near to fall off as a wingman, and the headshot damage is absolutely crazy. Knocked them, got caught in the choke because it was too much noise. Alliance feeling very comfortable because they have 1 red and double purple already.
Shopify Rebellion super close to all of this, but they don't have the sustain to actually stay up on this high ground without covering.
Ayolah, jangan pos-pos lagi lah. Itu player udah pada bad mood, coy. Gak tau perasaannya dia. Bad mood,
Shopify Rebellion pretty safe from being pushed, and I'm glad they've stemmed the bleeding of Meds.
Tapi masih mending sih daripada remake. Itu lebih bad
People
mood.
are gonna be meeting each other a lot more because on this map, the choke tends to be the gathering points, and indeed it is for 100 Thieves and Shopify, it seems.
Gak jadi pergi tuh Alliance.
However, Alliance, they, I'm pretty sure their evac got shot down. Is that what happened? I don't know. They're just
Temu lagi
got
tuh.
another one.
Get another one.
Go again. It is not a bad spot for Alliance to rotate through, though. They don't have a lot of crowding towards this north side of the zone, and if they want to play edge, let's say starting to move towards epicenter and sort of clearing that area out could be nice. Actually playing up on this high ground, I think, would be a bit odd for the end game, especially given that so little of it is actually encompassed by the next zone, so you're not going to be getting a huge power position by playing this height.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which side the zone pulls towards. I think Alliance, however, has good rotates in towards Monument if they have to. But there's a lot of playable areas out there.
Anjing, gua pengen berak,
There's like a few ditches.
Ah, elah.
Like, you have several options. I think that
Ya,
could work out.
dah.
However, inside of Monument, Everything seems to be taken almost. A couple of buildings are clear. People probably still haven't noticed that. Fnatic right here with the zone.
Full
Get the
lagi tuh
reset,
Fnatic.
however, still triple blue. Hopefully they can grab some objective points on their way in to level up to purple, because getting in on triple blue when people are already looking at red is a little bit scary.
They've got Mirage. There's an assault crate, so you
Ketemu
know.
Aurora itu TSM.
Could happen.
Harus
Could happen.
hati-hati.
I'm actually anticipating that it will happen. Aurora, wait for something else, did actually choose to play the center of Epi.
Kanan lu
Not a
coy.
whole lot of damage, not a whole lot of kills. I think
Kanan
that's
lu.
the unfortunate
TSM
reality
kanan
when
lu,
you're playing at a
anjir.
survey camp and it pulls basically
Kanan.
right next to you. Even for Aurora, who I'm sure would like to get antsy.
Oh,
This is a nice
nemu
pickup for
itu.
TSM. Mythic
Dapat.
crate.
Oh, the
Makanya,
armor
anjir.
level up and also the juice. What did he get? Triple take, Havoc. I mean, Havoc hasn't been too popular,
Havoc.
but he brings it up. Double gold scout and also the armor level up.
Lumayan, Havoc.
My friend is a juicy box.
Oh yeah, the armor level up especially going to help out. Havoc, I felt pretty good about. I know it's just tough because so often in the end game, it's Sheila or Shotgun, and Havoc doesn't just doesn't really have space there.
It's a little bit tough because a lot of the times people opt for their primary weapon. They tend to opt for Scout or they tend to opt for Nemesis. Whereas Havoc, it kind of falls into that range as well. And also in Bubble Fest, like I said, Shotgun is way prevalent. I think you can definitely still get use out of Havoc. It's just a lot of people haven't been picking it up as of lately. But, you know, we saw that happen. That's nice. Hopefully we can see some action from it.
Probably will. I mean, Aurora and TSM are almost surely going to clash, as Aurora has to leave through Epicenter very soon. E36, not really going to have to move nearly as much, although they are on the edge of this zone. I don't mind their position, and are already in a really good spot in the lobby overall. I do, however, wonder what they're thinking, how they're going to approach this. So let's jump into a listen-in with Enter Force 36.
여기 노란 핑도 비어 있었어?
지하 가가지고 지하에서 말고 가면 돼.
1층 여기 비었다. 아니 뭐야 인이다.
야 방금 여기 박물관 계단 쪽에 한 팀 있었다. 지하로 와볼래? 지하 와봐. 지하 와봐.
여기 빨핑도 비어 있을 것 같아.
그 작은 공사장애들한테 느꼈다. 홀드 가져가자. 쓰란번 우리 뒷각 없어.
여기서 조용히 그냥 가만히 있을래? 가만히?
왼쪽 한칸 위에 올라와 있는 게 나을 것 같기도 하고.
오케이.
발공 탈 때 내려가서 하자. 여기서 가만히 있자.
발공 탈 땐 내려가고 위에 홀드하자. 어디 비어 있었지?
Artinya apa Bang Messi?
플랫폼
Kita
비었었고.
nanti kesini aja. Tapi tunggu dulu. Kita nggak tahu tuh depan ada siapa.
있었어.
Ya nggak apa-apa. lanjut.
언덕
아래.
우리 바로 한 칸 앞에 비었지. 없었던 것 같은데?
아 여기 있어.
아 거기 있어?
얘한테 듣겠어. 크레인 살렸다. 크레인.
확인해야 돼.
Waduh.
도박일 것 같긴 한데 너무. 이런데 사이드라도 비벼봐야 되나 이런데? 아 근데 플랫폼에다가 개박살인데?
Shopify-nya SR-nya eliminate.
Overall, Shopify Rebellion, unfortunately, likely not in the same spot as they were just taken down. It'll be a tough blow for Shopify Rebellion. But Enter Force 36,
Tapi enak sih ini sih sebenarnya.
still have a long,
Enter
difficult
punya
journey ahead.
Valkyrie,
Fnatic
lu
made their
tinggal
way out and are moving into Monument as well. Perhaps those two
tinggal
teams
terbang,
choosing to mirror each other a little bit
rotate,
later on, as 100 Thieves and Aurora, really notably, both these teams on the north end of the zone and in a really good spot to punish.
Yeah, the zone pull towards the northern side where Aurora is right now setting up. They're in a great spot to actually close this game out if they don't get contested for the northern side. However, TSM is right next door and they're going to end up having needing to coexist on that mountain. There's plenty of place, area to place and just share among each other. However, now the fighting zone is deep in Monument and it looks like Fnatic is about to take on Gaming Gladiators, I believe.
Yeah, Gaming Gladiator has been a pretty high-performing team. Light, one of our top 5 in terms of player performances during the winners round 1.
Tapi kalau ambil atas gitu tuh
happening now is
takutnya
Fnatic
ke expose gitu loh.
away, choosing not to engage with GG.
Apalagi
Still gonna
Fnatic
have to
nggak
engage
punya
with something as they are awkwardly
barrier,
outside of the next zone. But they're already pinging a spot that looks like it could be safe.
Exoclan.
Exoclan unfortunately will not make it. It is C9 to take out Swinny.
Yeah, EXO goes out and Fnatic needs to rotate in with the
Kabur
zone.
sih Fnatic.
Ends up to see if they're gonna fight for low
Mending
ground because
masuk.
there's areas to play low ground that's still in the zone.
Ada yang
Or
terbang
they're
tuh.
gonna end up fighting for a building or creeping a building. It's gonna be a little bit hard because everybody is looking to either gatekeep or just hold their power spot.
Enter Force 36 have just landed right next door to 100 Thieves. In fact, right underneath 100 Thieves. And TSM are walking up
dekat
the
banget
roar, so
itu.
we're challenging for power positions. TSM open things up with a big sky nade. But outside of that, I'm not seeing them get too
Ingat,
aggressive. They're
lu
choosing
lihat
to
belakang
just play
juga.
this side
Lu kena
of
sandwich
the
itu.
balloon.
Belakang masih banyak.
Not wanting to get overly involved with Aurora
Crazy
right
Raccoon.
now. Crazy Raccoon going to leave us at 14th position. So TSM and Aurora own the high ground, and everybody else is battling things out for a spot in Monument.
This building in the southern end has 4 teams playing right next to each other with 4 more teams in front of them as well as 2 teams on the western side. This is gonna be an absolute battlefield when this zone closes in about 58 seconds. But will we catch some action in this building? Because now you're getting to the point where, hey guys, there's too many teams, we need to force them into each other.
Alliance gonna start peeking out, not finding any purchase just yet, although we are seeing
Kena push.
Go Next lose members. Unlucky gets involved through the window with the Mastiff, and it'll be Go Next that do fall. Partially to Alliance, partially to Fnatic on the outside, but that is one team that we are down as we move ever closer to a victor here in our second game on World's Edge.
Yeah, 1 team out, 3 more remains to go in this same exact building. All these teams have to move up, and I believe if Aurora and TSM doesn't end up fighting, it's gonna be so many kill points for them.
Fnatic actually
Masuk.
dancing with effect right now, getting even more aggressive. They are going to lose one. Leica's down. Melstera healing up in the meanwhile. Invisible on the Mirage is going to get some close out there, but still go down to Alliance. They stepped a little too close. Guild come in for the third party, and we'll be saying goodbye to yet another team as Alliance will fall as well.
Kabur sih, kabur sih, kabur sih.
With the proximity of all these squads, they're going to immediately head back up north, and over here in the east, Enter Force 36.
Enak banget itu ngeflanknya.
The high ground, they've lost one. Synap is down. Playing anchor for the team is going to be full thirsted, and 100 Thieves still on the high ground. Enter Force 36 in big trouble on the low.
Hati-hati depan ada call.
Loses one of their members, and on the opposite side of the bridge, they're fighting right now as well. Guild takes down C9 as well. The craziest part is Gaming Gladiators actually rotating in front of them through the same house from the southern side, about to take a fight now. They're gatekeeping them.
Masuk, nice.
Trades on both sides almost, and Guild cleans up actually. DD goes down, but
Swap
now
armor.
inserted as well by Falcons. Ready up.
Now can Guild defend up against Falcons? It looks like they can. Jesco did so well, but the Sheila puts a quick end to that, and Team Falcons get the chance to reset on the low ground. Waltzy covering with the Sheila in the meanwhile, almost gets taken down. Enter Force 36 are looking at them, remembering Enter Force 36 is a duo. Well, Furia and Aurora fight things out for the high ground. Remember, TSM so close by as well, so if this fight does truly break out in earnest, you know that there's going to be a third party.
Yeah, and this is the scary part for Aurora because they were there alone, which makes it super good. Now they're in between 2 teams, which makes it super bad because regardless, they either drop and get thirded by TSM, or they just end up walking out together with 3 teams, in which case they're pinched. What do you do now? They're gonna have to end up fighting at some point, but I don't know if they're actually gonna full commit until they really, really have to, or if they get naded out.
TSM know this as well. Look at the space that Aurora have to play. It's basically nothing that they have to work with. A small box, and that is it. Enter Force 36, staring at Team Falcons on the low ground, are likely gonna have to take this fight as well. You don't have any catalysts. You don't really have much safety with just one bubble between them and destruction. Out comes the Sheila, out comes the bubble.
Legendnya si
have a couple seconds left to survive. Once this bubble goes down, it is not looking good, Graceful. Falcons are starting to move up on it. They know as well as we do.
They know.
And Enter Force 36
They know.
start heading
Furia
to the
juga
high
join.
ground.
TSM.
Now firing down on Team Falcons from above.
And this is the
Careful.
thing, TSM is actually
Dari
holding out
belakang ada
Falcons.
Falcon.
This might be good for Enter
Dari
Force
low
36,
ground.
but it looks like Furia is joining a fray.
Enternya.
Enter Force 36.
Out.
And Aurora is
Masih ada
left
bubble.
solo up on high ground. They're gonna be the last team to join their fray and are looking
Aurora
very
join
likely to close this game out as TSM moved up
Aurora
join? Moved up a little bit early, and we'll have
What
to
the
see
fuck?
what Falcons does.
From playing so small to now getting to
Biar
play
belakang
so
sih.
much bigger. Aurora have the high
Masalahnya
ground,
lu kok
and Furia have given that up for a chance to take down the Falcons. Evac tower gonna go off in the distance.
Ulti aja
Fury
udah,
have to be worried about being jumped
rotate.
on, and so they're gonna bubble early through this Gibraltar ultimate. Fury are safe for a few seconds. Aurora, know the timer is finishing, but Aurora cannot overextend. TSM
Ulti aja
not
udah.
yet engaged. Should Aurora
Bam.
go now, TSM will come in and clean up the fight. 4 squads left still, and you've got to push that down further as Aurora begin to deny space to TSM. Verhulst fires back with the shield.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora went a little bit early in my opinion, but they decided to set up TSM playing on the east side of the rock and Furia on top of the rock, as well as Falcons on the bottom of the rock. Now it comes down to see which side pulls in closer first. I'm expecting Aurora here to win the game if they can stay out on the edge. Depends on what TSM does, because they have been hard focusing Aurora. Now, Falcons bubble is about to run out as they have to decide, do we engage or do we not?
Fury are just watching themselves be sandwiched. They got put between Falcons and TSM, had to choose a side, and unfortunately, there's no winning side for it. Impulse even contributing as Fury are going to go down.
Udah dibilang dari
And it's Aurora
atas.
versus Falcons, with Aurora having the high ground. Kazakh waiting in this bubble fight, choosing to peek through the Newcastle shield. Is going to jump on forward. Impulse losing health to zone. The last tick is in, and TSM managed to survive and outlast Aurora to find a win.
Aurora might have been really good on cleaning up the Furia Falcons fight, but TSM staying patient.
Kan udah aku bilang hati-hati dari atas. Harusnya Aurora bisa tuh sabar dulu sih, nungguin Falcon lawan TSM kan, terus lu masuk. Gak sabar itu Aurora tadi.
Which is what I always say, if you want a 1v3, divide and conquer is the way, but if you get 3v1,
masih ada 3 match.
TSM taking this game really in a good looking fashion.
Yeah, I mean, they made very smart use of the cooldowns, both theirs and Aurora's, to stall a lot of time. I mean, in that last 3v3, the Ring did a lot of work, mostly because TSM just managed to put enough Gibby bubbles, mobile shields, castle walls, rampart walls in front of them that Aurora didn't get the chance to find a whole lot of damage.
No, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it comes down to which team engages which team from that spot can stay on the edge without needing to join the fray, like into the actual bubble, which Aurora did good. They caught a couple of kills there, as well as top 2 is solid. But TSM decides to, like, this is the one thing that TSM is really, really good at. They do what I like to call, they show their presence a lot. You are not swinging our side. I will use my entire Sheila into your bubble, or into your Newcastle queue, or into your Newcastle wall, just to show you that, hey, I'm willing to die with you if you decide to push my side. Falcons opted to go for the opposite side into Furia instead, and that just enabled a different ball game for TSM, because now they're on the east side for free solo, and they get to take the fight. And when it came down to that 3v3, that was actually such a good fight from their side.
I really had to feel for Furia there. They do end up collecting a 4th place with 8 points, but they don't make the top 3, as that's TSM, Aurora, and Falcons who made it up. All 3 the big players in the end game, and all 3 having surrounded Furia and decided, well, I don't know which of us is going to win, but you absolutely are not.
Sometimes that's actually how it feels like, because this even happens as well in, you know, lobbies where you think you're safe, but you're never safe. Speaking of safe, however, Aurora, 68 points. That will pretty much guarantee them, you know, top 10.
Yeah.
Same for Enterforce 36 on 55, TSM on 45. They're about safe. I would say we're only at this stage of the game right now. They can definitely make it. Everybody else, however, still not really there just yet. They might need that one game to pull them through. And then as we look on the other side of the leaderboard, you know, from Cloud9 and downwards, these guys need to start waking up properly, because now you're at the stage where we might not make winner. We might not make finals, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, as a reminder, you do want to be inside the top 10.
Yes,
in order to make finals. So right now the cutoff is just at Furia, and you've got 3 games to do it. This was our last game.
Match.
We
3 match kan?
get 2
3
maps
match.
of that, but now we're going to be moving into the E-District, one of the most fair maps, I would say. No matter where you're landing, you should have a good shot if you're having a good day, if you're all on the same page, and if you are ready to play the best Apex Legends of your life. We do have 3 games left to determine who is going to make it into Sunday. It is getting incredibly close, Graceful, and with just those 3 games left, we are going to give our players and you a short break, and we'll see you in just a few.
Ayo match 6 yuk, buruan.
And this invisible on the other side of Verls. Imagine if he gets the jump on Verls when he's isolated in this case by the rock.
Nggak ada suaranya. Off gitu berarti. Trivia gitu.
And Madness is still invisible. Vax is getting the rest, but he doesn't have a gold knockdown.
Orang gila mana yang apal sama kayak gitu anjir? Hah? Kocak.
He is very much there. Oh my goodness, Vaxlon bleeding out now. Vaxlon utilizing the walls.
And Furia right now are the same amount of points as Gaming Gladiators to be first in this lobby. Vax now dancing around the shield. Can he clutch? Madness still stuck in the drone, still waiting. EMP
still waiting.
Right at the very end. TSM get eliminated and Furia had gone for second with complexity. They don't even know where Madness is. They gotta finish this game first. And all right.
Lama jeng.
Alienware, the official PC of the Apex Legends Global Series.
A big thank you to Battle Beaver, the official controller partner of the Apex Legends Global Series. During this time, during the biggest LAN that Apex Legends has ever seen, you can use the code ALGS on their site, which is battlebeaver.gg/ALGS for 20% off during this amazing LAN that we've got going on here in Japan, the championship, and there is no better time to pick up your matching Battle Beaver controller to celebrate the occasion. It's, I mean, of course, really helped out our players on stage, but you've also got the opportunity to win some stuff simply for watching those players play on stage. We've run a couple throughout the week of our Twitch drops, but as today is Saturday, you've got the chance to pick up an exclusive holo spray, which has Horizon, Bangalore, and Pathfinder celebrating, although I don't think that Pathfinder has a mode that is not celebrating.
Yeah, most definitely, because Pathfinder is one of the best characters. I like
Udah mulai kah? Belum kan?
And, you know, getting to get some rewards just by watching as well is always nice, you know. And I like that spray, you are the champion. When you get that dub in rank with your squad, always a great feeling.
How do you use holo sprays? Like, when do you use them?
Oh, 100% just a BM every time. Yeah? When you get like triple swung and I 1v3 every time, single time.
Okay, I like it. I will occasionally use them as like thank yous for my teammates. You know, like if they drop something.
That's because you're so kind.
Well, then, you know, they're sweet. They're little pictures. Yeah.
I guess I'm the toxic one.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. I have the gray Nessie okay equipped as well.
Buruan.
When you 1v1 someone and then you mock them, you're like, okay, nice try, I guess.
Yeah, you can always drop the okay on them. Now, we are getting ready for the next game as our players have given us some incredible showings here on stage already. But to measure a bit of a different skill, we actually tested how fast a few of them could take on other computer lab related abilities. So let's go ahead and see.
You cool with it? Yeah. I did. Whenever you're ready.
Whenever I'm ready, I'm gonna put it on my deck.
Can begin.
Yeah.
Jarinya teh panjang-panjang, Cok. Jari gue pendek tapi look, anjing. Panjang-panjang tahi.
Whenever I'm ready, okay. So one crazy thing is I only type with one hand. Into tell hand thing day, then small set tell.
Orang gila satu tangan gitu ya. Sumpah enak banget.
Oh, that they didn't like that. Person now.
Oh my god.
No.
Down. Lead child. What? See, because then new change use increase.
Look.
Oh, 62. Nah.
Holy.
Wait, how bad is that? For 39.
124. Pinky 4. If not for shift control and tap. 4-1. What? What does that even mean? It's so hard to type it and read at the same time, actually. Like 49 words per minute.
You weren't the worst.
It could be better.
I mean, you know, I love Fun. He's everybody says he's the nicest person. He's the cutest person. I knew something was crazy about him. Typing with one hand at a normal Fun. He still beat. He still beat him as well. No, I think that's a great, you know, great display of skill as well, because, you know, I've never done. I thought we both had.
And Saucerer asked, I think, the most important question: what is a Pinky for if it's not for shift control and tap? That I think is the real question, because I'm not using my Pinky that much, but shift control and tab, I think you got everything. I think you got everything you need. I enjoyed watching that. It's nice to see our players compete in a bit of a different way. Now let's take a look at some of the highlights from our last match, our last visit to World's Edge. And for some of these players, as we said, the last time they're going to be playing on World's Edge until we see them on Sunday. It was a difficult round for Fnatic to start off with, even though they grabbed some kills pretty early on Team Liquid, which I'm sure felt nice after having that done to them in the last round.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, they felt good about this, ended up getting thirded. Huge fight here by Falcons, and Crazy Raccoon goes down. A lot of these highlights actually, you know, we might have not seen it on the big screen for the moment, but seeing them now again, you have the time to review a little bit. Why did they die before Alliance mopped them outside the window? Because they might have been safe with this Newcastle ult from Fnatic, but they were not safe from Alliance, ended up getting pinched. And a lot of these fights actually end up that way. You're in a two-way path because everybody's bubble up on you. We even see a wall, not as likely, but these bubbles in Newcastle queues allows teams to take the space that normally they wouldn't have in other metas.
This is found footage of Furia getting completely surrounded and having absolutely nothing to do, playing behind the last Newcastle mobile shield they will ever see. But ultimately, TSM, we praised them for this, did a really good job of mitigating a lot of damage until the point where they were able to do that triple swing coordinated push onto individual members of Aurora. A big part of that fight, and of many fights that we're seeing specifically in the winner's bracket, has been Newcastle wall timings as well. The ability to displace other people has been incredible. And a lot of people have very quickly picked up on how useful it is and how important timing on the Newcastle wall is in order to not just use your own, but break theirs. Now, Aurora currently lead our group with 3 matches left to go. 68 points, like you said. They're seeming kind of a shoo-in for making it to the finals on Sunday. But a little further down, I'd say around that Guild, Shopify, 100 Thieves, Falcons, Furia area, that's where I'd definitely be getting nervous about whether or not you're actually a lock-in for Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, these teams have to wake up now, and I think there's no better map than the map we're stepping into, E-District. Because like we said before, you know, E-District coming up is that it's the most fair map due to the fact that regardless of where the zone really pulls, you will always feel like the game is in your hands. In World's Edge, it can feel a little bit unfair because you get stopped at so many different locations where you just have to fight and almost guaranteed get thirded, and you can't really rotate past teams. E-District, the complete opposite is, if you don't want to fight, you can almost avoid absolutely everybody, which is your macro alone, which is amazing.
You've got lots of ways to maneuver around E-District, and one of the things that we've really noticed is that in end games, there's a ridiculous amount of teams alive simply because of the places that you can hold when we get that much further into the game. Now, we did have the draft for this earlier, so let's take a look at where everyone is landing. In this particular case, taking a look, I remember thinking that Green Stego got a bit shortchanged there, Complexity as well, but in large part, I think that almost everyone got areas that they feel very comfortable with. Maybe I'd point out Crazy Raccoon as being a notable exception, simply because they were the one team that had really gone out of their way to prioritize Lotus in the group stage and got denied it by Furia.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is when, you know, when you're playing in group stages that you might not just get the actual spot that you want. Now that they're in more familiar lobbies and they know each other's macros, sometimes even changing spot doesn't matter that much, especially on this map. And that's why we also saw a lot of the picks opted in for, you know, the earlier stages like World
map
Edge
yang
and
gua
all the
benci
stuff
nih.
is that, you know, they might have had less time to actually
Map yang
define
gua
their strat,
benci
because
tuh.
remember, some of these teams went straight into picking their PYs right after they were done with a series, and that can affect you as well. They're like, hey, you know, we're tired, we had just had a tough day, or a good day. If they're a good day, they're feeling good about it. Yeah, of course, we'll pick this. No matter where we are, we're always gonna smash everyone. And if you had a worse day, you know, you're gonna be like, you know, our plan didn't work, we really want to pick the same POI. And this is also why, one of the reasons why I like to say, hey, we gotta have more than one POI, because, you know, are we willing to con for something, or do we want to change up our strat if it's not working? Because like we said before, in like different stages on the tournament, earlier stages might play out very differently, and later stages might play out exactly how you want it to be. And you gotta be prepared for everything, because if you don't have, I mean, 8 games is quite a lot, but you don't have
Hello,
that
Elmo.
many games if you don't get like solid
kucingku
average
masuk.
points on average. Then you start needing these humongous big bomb games, and not everybody can do what Enter Force 36 is, dropping, you know, 20 plus kills. It's not what, like, we've only seen 3 huge games really, so it's gonna be rough for some of these teams. They gotta wake up, but I think if any map, it's this map coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do want to note that our games, of course, have been delayed just a little while, but we are doing our best to make sure that for these most important games of the tournament so far, that our players are going to be set up with their best chance for success as we head in to E-District. We wouldn't want any of them to be missing out on anything, so lobby should be starting soon. Just please bear with us, as that soon is going to be a flexible measure based on when our players actually feel like they're set up for success.
Soon.
Soon.
Okay, well, I'm ready. I'm about to press my button soon. We don't really know when, but, you know, I'm also hoping to get back into this, because I think everybody, 2 ways. Some are anxious, some are locked in and ready. And, like, I believe also some are locked and loaded, and I'm waiting for it. I just want to see some good Apex, and that's what we've been seeing nonstop.
We got some really cool stats going on as well that we've collected throughout the tournament. A lot of them about Red Evo Shield.
Look at that.
Rain and Johnny being very, very good at picking those up quickly, but as it is, getting to Red is more a matter of speed than anything, since it is achievable for anyone, whether you're playing Zone, whether you're playing Edge. We do actually still see some Zone teams hit that red marker very late, if at all, simply because of how much Evo coming from damage is not really as efficient for them.
Yeah, most definitely. But not only that, Mastiff, so many kills. It's not as crazy as we've seen before with the Mozambiques and, you know, other weapons in other tournaments, but Mastiff nonetheless has been the main pick for close range fighting. Eva coming up close as well, and PK is also there, but the biggest thing is Mastiff still dominates despite the nerf that we had fairly recently. It's, in my opinion, also my favorite shotgun, so I like it a lot, because Eva is just one of the weapons where if you get to slide on somebody, not necessarily where they can, like, LOS cut with a bubble or something in the open, Eva could, you know, could punish a little bit harder if you're on their forehead and you have the Eva and they don't have a wall to play. But when we're talking about 90% of these fights where there's like 7 layers of either rampart walls, Newcastle Qs, or Gibby bubbles, I think jiggle peeking with either Massive or PK will always take your head, because you're not really exposing your body long enough to where Eva can find that full effect unless you get to jump on them, like I said.
And because of the horizontal spread, you've got a lot of forgiveness as well, right? Like if you're literally going side to side, then when you get in there, like not being exactly lined up means that the Mastiff is still likely going to land a little bit of damage as you slide in, whereas like that's not very true for something like the Peacekeeper that doesn't have the same level of horizontal spread and is more just contained in the box, kind of like the Eva.
Yeah, and they also changed it as well, how the bullet spread happens. So yeah, it's definitely the case. If you just, you know, you hit a shoulder, you're barely hitting any pellets at all. But I mean, that's just how it goes. Some shotguns fight differently, and I think that they're slowly hitting their spots to where you're actually feeling a little bit of a different gameplay to pick up each and every one. Massive and PK probably the most similar ones, but the Mozambique doesn't feel at all like the Massive, and it doesn't feel at all like the Eva either.
Yeah.
So I think that if we can, you know, further advance these distinguishing between the weapons and them all having their proper individuality and uniqueness to them, I think that's just the better because I want I like having favorite weapons. Flatline is my favorite weapon. No other weapon feels like Flatline, and I love it. And I hope we keep it that way.
Yeah, I mean, a very similar thing to be said in the LMG class, where I think they've done a really good job of differentiating the feel of the different LMGs. I am obviously, as a Ren
LMG main.
Ayolah, lama kali, Wak.
This is going to be taking a little while longer than we anticipated, and so we're going to jump to a very quick break, but we'll be back in just a few moments.
Bentar ya, bentar.
Game number
Aku nak.
5. We'll be back. 6.
Wait.
6.
Nah, kok nggak nggak kedetek, Sok? Mana, Sok? Anak jing. Anak, Sok. Bentar. Wait, belum closing, bro. Aman ya, aman, belum closing kita. 1 menit. Masih ada 32 detik ya.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you remember that it is, in fact, Game 6 that we're setting up in the meanwhile. I certainly wouldn't have misremembered the game number. However, as we are still preparing that in the background, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about some of the team performances this time around, Graceful, because we've talked quite a bit about those teams that are at the top: Aurora, Enterforce 36, TSM, Liquid Alienware, just to name the first. But I want to look a little further down the leaderboard while we have time and talk about those teams that may already be thinking, what are we going to do if and when this hits the second round of elimination. I'm thinking specifically of Green, Stego, Virtus Pro, Fnatic, and Go Next. Weird that I'm saying Fnatic there.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely hitting that timeline now where it's a possibility to not see Fnatic in the upper bracket or in finals straight away, so to say, and they might have to fight for their tournament life down in lower bracket number 2. These other teams, however, have had a little bit of inconsistency, might I say, but now's the time. There is still 3 games with this left, so they have an opportunity to come back, but unless they can get some above average points, like at bare minimum 10 points on average per for 2 out of the 3 maps, and then a big game out of 1 of them, it's looking a little bit rough for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually looking specifically towards Noctum and Crazy Raccoon during these next 3 games, because E-District has historically been really successful for them until today, throughout the group stage. Crazy Raccoon was averaging 9.2 points per game on E-District, and Noctum 11.8.
Yep, solid averages, but you know what I like about averages? I would rather see them in action, as I hope we're about to start up our game pretty soon, as I'm getting a little bit of excitement as we're about hopping in. Yes, the average points of teams is also, you know, I like to call a lot of about info, and the data could better be. I feel like a lot of people look at raw stats and data as something factual, which it is facts.
District semua
you gotta look
nextnya
at it
Le.
from a little bit of a broader
Gua harus
perspective,
ngapain?
because
Gua
raw
nggak
damage
paham
doesn't
di
mean
sini
anything.
map ya.
A lot of the times
Sering
you have
nyasar,
6,000 damage,
sering
but that
nabrak
one game
tembok nggak
ended in
jelas.
barometer, and I had a charge rifle with 200 bullets. You know, it's
Coba
very
gua nggak tahu
common.
ini map.
But
Benci.
other stats, however, that I would rather look at is, you know, how much damage you actually do in a team fight in a bubble, rather than just overall, you know. So it's important to take all of these stats with a pinch of salt, might I say.
Especially because they shift so often based on where the ring is going, where you're dropping, and in this case, this is where everyone is going to be dropping for E-District. I just want to remind everybody, as we prepare these games, that it's likely that your favorite team, whoever they may be, is dropping from a very different spot than they were in the group stage. As we performed this POI draft only 2 days ago, and everybody had a barrage of shifting priorities. I'd say we saw a lot more priority on E-District than we did pre-tournament. Now that this has gotten underway, I think that while the map is far from solved, we are still getting to the point where teams and players are understanding, well, we aren't just going to leave this for last. Not just anything is good. We want the best chance of success. And it looks like you did indeed get your wish, Graceful. The game has begun. E-District is where we're going, and it is for the last 3 games of the winner's bracket.
Aduh,
Who will
goblok.
be finishing in the top 10? Who will be stamping their ticket to go on to Sunday?
Yeah, who indeed? I'm so looking forward to this game, because now is where we will see momentum shift. Some of these teams have been struggling on other parts of the map, especially the lower bottom 10 of the 20th. Now we have actually, you know, the opportunity to show up, because now we've seen some teams actually only excel on this map specifically rather than the other 2 maps, and I'm hoping we get to see something more alongside of that.
Old Town, home of TSM right now. Furthest south on the map. There are going to be very close neighbors with Go Next, and having rolled a ring console pretty early on, TSM should get an idea of where this zone is going. Graceful, that we're going to be going a little further up north than TSM Alliance Go Next, and instead moving up into that Virtus Pro area, even so far as to encompass a little bit of resort, where Shopify Rebellion ended up dropping.
Yeah, and now the only thing I'm wondering is, will we, you know, even from this lobby and also leading into the next rounds, will we see the same trend on this map where more people are playing center zone, specifically tied to this map, probably because there's more, you know, available spots to play, or will we keep seeing the fashion that we have seen previously now, where people are kind of opting away from early rotating and just playing mid-speed? Remains to be seen. It's going to be fun. Fight here though between GoNext and TSM is looking spicy.
It is. I mean, Go Next have been ruthless over the last couple of games. They know as well as anyone that picking up kills in this round is going to be a big game changer. But TSM set up a defensive perimeter very quickly. They've gotten Verhulst back into the fight, and Go Next are now sat on the low ground with mostly white armors. Yarka, the one exception, having gotten enough Evo from taking down Verhulst earlier. But even then, Go Next need to find a way to actually besiege TSM in a meaningful way, because right now they have very limited access to the high ground of the TSM hold.
Yeah, fighting double wide into triple blue is going to be rough, but it depends on how well they are at splitting. With this bubble, let's see if they triple swing something or if they're going to end up double swinging. Huge Newcastle all comes out and they get it split. One of them swinging one by TSM, and that's going to be hard.
Mundur. Konok 1.
And Reps is going to go down immediately. Uchako with the Mastiff will help take down Verhulst as well. And TSM
Kan udah aku bilang hati-hati, jangan langsung.
To be the first team taken down on E-District.
And that's
Udah
exactly
aku
what I was referring to. Did you see that
hati-hati,
stair
bro.
swing? That was 1 by 1. You have to be triple swinging something if you want to make sure to close out the game fast. Because when you swing 1 by 1, that's 3 people looking at you turn that corner, and you got shot at, and one of them immediately exploded. And then we saw the triple push through stairs, next one got exploded, and then at that point, there's not really much that you can do.
I'm going to take not the opposite end of that perspective, maybe a different one, an adjacent one. I don't think you needed to swing that at all. Going down the stairs was a really rough move and an over-aggressive one by TSM. Yes, I understand the aggression, wanting to shake Go Next off your back, because maybe Go Next don't do it themselves, but a little bit of hubris certainly bites them, and now Go Next get everything in the south and the 3 kill points that they were looking for in the first place. EXO sieging up against Shopify Rebellion, who again were sat outside of Resort and will be for the foreseeable future. FC9 looking at them as well, so Shopify Rebellion are running out of safe space to play.
Yeah, we're also getting to this point of the game where like a lot of the teams have already made their way into center zone. So this fight has to happen fast if they want it to happen. Alliance as well looking against E36 in the same building, looking to push. Will we see the same type of gameplay that we just saw now between TSM as well?
Double whiff by ALGS, unfortunately just not connecting right now. It's been really rough. Alliance have lost a lot of HP, but fortunately have not lost a member during this time. E36 are finally going to claim the first knock on ALGS. And I would not be messing with Enterforce 36 after this. Alliance really struggled to find an ingress into this fight. And now that you've lost one, you're not going to find it at this point.
But when even though you've lost one, you have to remember it's Effect and Unlucky outside. They're trying their best. I believe Unlucky ran away, as they will be chasing APT because they are running Valkyrie. Like, not many other teams are. They can easily catch up to Unlucky most likely, and they did spot him out, spam picking him right now. They say, hey, he is hiding over here, we're going to clean him up. However, even though this fight, we know how this would end, I'm very sad with how it started, Dia. Why did ALGS get split up? He got split up, you know, in that zipline fight, essentially, because they're just bouncing on the zipline.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just the wrong response. When you get split, you get punished.
Follow-up slam, deadly, and yeah, nice cleanup, nice cleanup. E36, they knew what they were about.
Yeah, I mean, indeed, they were playing very synergized, all of them triple bouncing on that. And that's also kind of hard as well, because, you know, as two roller players, they can't do the same thing that ALGS and Synap can do, essentially. But, I mean, you could bounce still, but that synergy they had there, going floor to floor together, triple swinging, cleaning and saying, hey, triple heal before we walk up together, is what, you know, makes or break these fights. You got a triple swing, man.
It was a very nice finish. Love to get to see the Newcastle ults used so aggressively. The animation is so satisfying.
It looks so cinematic.
Yeah. That probably one of my favorite parts of the Newcastle design is getting to use the ultimate and watch it be used. Now, Fnatic, a team that very much needs to perform in these last 3 games, currently sitting in 18th overall, have a great spot from which to do so, Bryson.
Yeah, really good spot. You know, they have the knowledge and they know they're in a solid spot. The question remains is, can they hold this spot? Because now they're on triple blue. It looked like they're all missing, you know, sides right now. Will be a little bit harder to poke people away from you when you're missing, you know, a 3x or a 2-4. But they're sitting very comfortably, hoping that other teams perhaps start a fight and then they can 3-peat. Because on this map, honestly, you have pretty solid sight lines specifically from this spot, so that's good.
We got to take a look at some of the teams that are on the cusp of making their way into qualification for winners. Noctem, hoping for their shot at doing much the same. We're going to drop 100 Thieves, and Timmy is going to fall. This will be a quick finish for Noctem, and I don't see 100 Thieves
solo. Timmy, kenapa Timmy?
It's worth noting that with TSM and Alliance eliminated, we have our 3rd place team and our 5th place team having gone down. With 3 games left to go, I'm not saying that they're in danger of being knocked out, but you want to avoid having more games like this one, where 0 points can very quickly become you dropping many placements.
Yeah, and we can also see here on the map that there's actually about 6-7 teams outside of the zone right now. Seems like they want to be playing a little bit more of edge because maybe they like just how these zones specifically plays out. But like you said, top 5 eliminated, top 3 eliminated. What this means, Dia, is even more excitement to me. Unless the teams above them soak up more points, that means there will be more points across the board spread into the lobby, so that, you know, it'll be more exciting because that means the average in the lobby also goes up. Will we see as high as yesterday? Probably not, because it ends up being normally more top heavy. But I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. I'm hoping for teams on the bottom 10 to pick up some more points this game because they definitely need it.
Team like Aurora could just rocket ahead of the lobby, but not if they're being shut down like that. Go next. Isolating and destroying. I mean, you've mentioned to me in the past that Go Next are a contentious team in EMEA because they can get so aggressive, because they will go for these unorthodox and honestly very inconvenient plays for other teams. But you can't deny that when points mean everything, when we are in high-stakes situation like this, their strategies are very effective.
Yeah, and that's the thing about them. Uxako and Hyarka as the duo, really, right? We've seen them across, almost the entire timeline of Apex. I would like to say, from EMEA's perspective, they always have the same confidence, and that's something that a lot of teams lack. Because like when something works or doesn't work, I feel like they never get, what's the word again? Discouraged. They don't really get discouraged because they know we practice this. If it works, we've been doing a good practice, and if it doesn't work, well then we just gotta get at it again. Whereas most people might even get discouraged. And speaking of discouraged, 100 Thieves almost over peaking, getting insta-kill, but the bubble from Team Falcons comes forward with this rat. We heard about the rat phase. Now Falcons says it's my turn as they train in his fight, and it goes 2 for 2. Falcons versus 100 Thieves comes down to 1v1.
Ayo.
But
Aduh.
the Newcastle is on one team. It's gonna be really hard for 100 Thieves to close this out as he gets the res. And 100 Thieves probably looking to disengage here to make sure they
kabur aja udah,
reset.
kabur.
However, instead of getting ratted on somebody else.
Yeah, I appreciate that Timmy went for it once he heard the res, but not much you can do there. Falcons are playing the kills, and Gaming Gladiators struggling to stay alive themselves up against Noctem are going to be chewed through. Gaming Gladiators do go down, and it's Noctem that pick up the kills. So we are starting to drop squads, or at least most of them in the case of 100 Thieves.
Noctem was one of the teams we talked about backstage as well, Dia, where like, can they keep up the performance they've had previously? Because we said, hey, in E-District, they were kind of popping off. Can they do it again? We saw them a little bit, across this lobby in the earlier matches. They haven't really had that success.
Ketemu lagi tuh.
With what we just saw, taking them out, is that we're seeing that form from yesterday. Is it maybe they're just a magical god E-District team? I don't know, but this is a good start to snowball into later. Hopefully they can keep this momentum up and maybe close out the game again like they did yesterday.
Genuinely, maybe. Like, Noctem have been really exceptional performers, but it's like a high highs, low lows kind of thing. If they've solved E-District, if that's the juice that's going to get them through this tournament, it may very well be enough. E-District has been a really important map, and many teams are slower on being able to pick up exactly how they want to approach this. In fact, Falcons have just come up with a new strategy. The rat play was really fun to watch, but I want to see what they're thinking of doing next as they approach E-District. So let's jump into a listen-in with Falcons.
Hey, shoot him. Take a peek. One night, he's staring at us. I get the shoot, so.
Are they staying there?
Yeah, they're gonna hold us.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's split. Okay, back bit. I'll play fast. I can nade him.
I bet naded him.
I'm walking forward.
Ketemu Aurora.
Also sliding forward.
Wait to get left side. I'm skynading. I skynaded.
Aduh.
Give me 100 on the right part. Give me right 200. Give me 200. Sorry, back. Looking back. Looks good. Hit 2 for 100. They're getting
running in the heart.
They're running outside. They're outside. They're in the corner. They're all inside now. Get some shit in hut. No, inside. Okay. That's why they run inside the room. Don't evac behind us. Evac behind us. We let them go. Oh, AFK on the corner?
They're in the hut behind me. Yeah.
They evac behind us. They're going City Hall.
Yeah, these guys just ran into me.
They might Ubi. They might Ubi, I think.
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're letting her close though.
Fucking Lotus on the right side.
We need to carry back here.
Yeah, fucking sit in the hut soon. They're swinging. Bombing. Give it cracked. Grab on 60. They use everything. Chilling. Killing.
Wait.
Cracked him 101. No, one. Killing. I'm batting against Skynaded.
Datang lagi tuh TP. Dar. Dar.
How do we stop that?
And that was, impressive 3v3 from Falcons going into Noctem.
Banyak gitu anjir udah main apa poin terus tinggal
the team
sapu-sapu
who was
bersih.
using the
Anjing,
landed
panas
close
banget.
because they saw, hey, you know, these guys are poking us, they might be fighting soon. Came in for the 3P, and they were stuck in the corner, got nade spammed, and then lost the fight. However, good comms and bubble fight before that. Aurora, however, takes that out, cleans that up.
Yeah, I mean, very well done, and it's suffering when you get trapped in the elevator. I've been trapped in the elevator, you've been trapped in the elevator. It's tough. It's especially when the enemy team has nades. Now, what's really difficult to watch is Virtus Pro be eliminated right now because they, 19th going into this game, had an amazing spot center zone where Go Next just managed to take over from them. So, really difficult game for Virtus Pro to lose out on points from. But now it's Go Next's opportunity, who have been making a lot of noise throughout this game. This could be Go Next starting to take that move and turn it into a winner's bracket appearance. They've just got to keep this going. Sitting at 14th place right now, Go Next, this could be their game.
Yeah, and this is the thing with zone pulled towards the water in the bridge, under the bridge, is something that
Aku
a lot
pengen
of people
rebahan.
they tend to opt for buildings. So when they notice that that zone is pulling off of them,
Buruan.
more teams start to look for fights early because, hey, we don't want to get gate kept with this team. We'd rather take them out now, which is why we see a lot of fights happening. We're used to seeing 20 teams circle 4 on this map. Now it's 12 because teams are hungry. They're all. We're at this stage in the tournament where everybody's warmed up. They're ready to throw their hands, and we're seeing that because teams are more and more being proactive in taking fights. Speaking of fights, looks like a fight is about to go down with Cloud9, and we'll have to see if other teams rotate in on the same side. Perhaps EXO.
Yeah, Cloud9, I mean, so close to EXO, so close to Complexity as well. I can't help but feel graceful that this is going to turn into a third-party situation. No matter what team you fight, the other is going to surely come and mess you up. And EXO right now, they're the ones picking a fight with Z9. I don't think that they know there's a third party in the area. But Swinny,
Ada
having
yang
already
TP
bought some
tuh
space for the
dari
team,
belakang.
is going to erect some cover just to make sure that this stays theirs. EXO clan are waiting out the Gibby ult. They've got a bubble of their own. I don't suspect that EXO are giving this up, though.
No, I think EXO likes punishing people for being in a bad positioning, so they're really forcing their utilities. And when they get forced utilities, they also get, you know, shot by more than Complexity as well, by E36, EXO, and also Complexity now going into another fight.
Jumping right in on the Shopify Rebellion.
Ah.
Somebody's getting cooked in here. Right now, Yuka F is the one with the Peacekeeper doing the cooking, looking for the last kill, even through the res shield. It'll be Yuka F that takes out Shopify Rebellion, and now Funnel's in a corner, waiting for the rest of the game themselves. EXO came into third party, but through this bubble, Yuka's surviving for a very long time, finally going to be taken out as EXO clan
Ya
jump
jelas
in,
lah
and now
anjir,
have a
lu
defensive
mau
bubble
swap armor
themselves
ada
to
tim lu yang
survive
pernah
in.
visit itu
Tuna
susah.
outside of it is going to go down. Swinny bunkering in the inside.
Another
Slayer takes
party.
an off angle,
Holy
but
shit.
Enter Force 36 have very little resistance in front of them as they come in to take another kill off EXO.
And this is what we see when the collapse happened from the western side of the
Ada
map.
party,
All
bro.
the teams that was in
Holy
those buildings
shit.
in the center zone early on are forced to join in from the same side. We saw about 5 teams just get mobbed right there. And now, you know, now there's a little bit more space, a little bit more breathing room as teams are looking to get into the next zone. But there's so many pathways on this map that allows teams to survive. Enter Force 36, however, already getting even more kills than they already had. We'll have to see if they can keep this up because I'm pretty sure they're already sitting pretty safely, which is a nice sight to see.
Green Stego, bottom of the leaderboard, fighting against Complexity for their chance at one
Bisa itu.
good game.
Matilah. Nah.
Kill and Go Next are going to fall. Go Next to it so
Masa
much
harus gua
momentum.
ajarin nanti.
Now getting shut down. Unfortunately, Green
Baru juga
Stego
kelar.
joined them just as quickly. Moving us down even further. Furia surviving on the low ground, looking at E36. Could this be the end of one of our powerhouse teams in the winner's bracket? Keon moves on forward but gets taken down. Furia are into the meat grinder and Synapse shuts it down.
Synapse shuts it down indeed. E36 survived the pinch. I don't think they'll get the reset here. They most likely won't.
Bah.
But managing to get those 3 kills.
Aduh.
And they turn on them. Aimbot actually 2-taps him. And
Kenapa
now
itu, Cok?
Tracy Raccoon is on their heels as
Wah, kesalahan sih itu
all 3
Crazy Raccoon.
people up, red armor, still healing up, making sure that they can actually survive. And This is crazy, Dia. How could they survive the pinch and also get more kills and still get a readout?
Don't
dari
call it a
atas.
comeback,
Aurora
because
atas.
E36
Crazy
never
Raccoon salah tadi.
left. Wow!
Beri
Taking
sabar
that
deh.
chunk out of Crazy Raccoon is wild.
Posisi lo enak
And it's
itu.
one of only 4 teams
Pun
left in the
Raccoon.
lobby. Crazy Raccoon
Ya nggak enak
can't
itu
afford
Enter Force.
overextensions like that. Now
Lu
Enter
tungguin
Force
aja dia
36
perang.
have Guild covering them on the high ground. This
Baru lu
bubble
masuk.
though, maybe a little bit early. Losing this cooldown could be incredibly punishing as Guild still manage the real estate of E36. If Guild decide you're going down, I'm sorry, but that's how it's
Nah,
going
kan
to be.
dia
And I'm
turun
watching
tuh.
Pony drop down. I'm seeing E36.
Nah kan dia, nah baru lu masuk.
Got nowhere left to go. Hiding behind this last sliver of a Newcastle shield. Out go the Thermite, but Aimbot's already down. Synap is down. Enter Force 36.
Walau nah baru lu masuk di sini.
Evicted from the low ground.
Aurora fighting for a height against Crazy Raccoon as Guild decided to drop down on E36. Big fight here between Crazy Raccoon and Aurora as they both are using their utilities. Guild lurking nearby, even popped an evac in the background I saw. Will they join the fray by sipping up late?
Nah
Will
kan
they stay
enak
down
kan,
low?
nah
And they
lu
do
masuk
down
kan
money
sekarang.
that accidentally fell off as OG Rain also goes down. Kazak, however, showing some signs of life,
Nah.
but takes down. It goes down as well. Crazy Raccoon
Trying to recover up against Guild. This could be Guild's win.
Aduh.
Jesco jumping into the
Ah.
bubble takes the
Nggak
last
apa-apa.
kill.
Top 2 kalau lu nge-push tadi di Enter Force lu nggak bisa top 2.
Our first game on E-District.
Guild definitely needed that. That
Itu
was
cewek,
great.
Cuk.
That's the thing is that they're making
Kosnya cewek anjir.
aren't making
Walau
See, if the bubble gets forced, you normally try to, hey, they don't have bubble, let's see if we can
Walau
kill them by
weh.
nading or just spamming them.
Ah,
Guild said they use
Kita
bubble,
cek
we're
ya,
using
kita cek,
our
kita
bubble to
cek,
gap
kita cek.
close and killing them, which was the perfect timing because Crazy Raccoon opted to fight Aurora for height at that point, and that made them, you know, ready.
Mana,
They
mana,
popped an
mana,
evac, they healed up, Knives fell down, they got that kill, and then they came up and cleaned up the fight, and that's just super solid
Mana sih?
decision making by Guild.
I mean, I've got to give credit where it's due there. That was a great call by Phony to jump down onto the low ground, and normally I'm not saying that in endgame scenarios, but because it starts the fight on high ground, it means so much more for Guild. It leads them to
Ya,
a
Cok, nggak ada, Cok.
19-point victory. Crazy
Oh,
Raccoon
ini.
right behind with 15 points. This game meant a lot to them
Ya.
as well, as it's now pushed Crazy Raccoon
Ketemu.
into 11th place
24,
overall
Cok.
on the leaderboards. Something that now has them in the
Danke.
conversation at the very
Ikut,
least.
Cok.
For will they be able to, in the next 2 games, make it up to the finals? Aurora, no surprise. Enter Force 36, I
24
gotta
tahun
say as well,
jadi
no
coach
surprise.
anjing.
Definitely no surprise. They were
Tapi-
playing that spot incredibly. The fact that they could survive between a pinch for that long on just one box, even though they had to use utilities to survive 2 angles, is crazy. However, like you said about Phony, people have been doubting him a little bit as of lately due to the fact of how his team split up after winning and everything, you know. And he's showing, you guys are doing fine, I'm doing fine. We sometimes have to remind ourselves that sometimes splitting up isn't something bad.
Anjir.
It might be better for the both of teams. And now we're seeing, you know, the rise of Guild being on 54, which in my mind, depending on, you know,
Ketemu,
they're pretty much
bro.
safe, in my opinion. They just a little bit, a tiny little bit more. It's good because
Ketemu,
now
Jing.
we can all succeed. And isn't that the best case in both scenarios? You know, it's always fun to be a villain and have a little
Kita
bit of
cek lah
rivalry.
Twitternya.
But
Mana
at the
Twitter?
end of the day, we want everybody to succeed as well as they can.
And all I'm saying is that I'm sure it helps put a smile on Phony's face.
Anjing.
The Guild is
Predator.
3rd, and Shopify Rebellion are 8th. Despite having 2 of the best performing fraggers in the tournament so far.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's just interesting. Shopify Rebellion, make no mistake, if we stopped the games now, would still go to finals on Sunday. They're still in a really good spot. But that little bit of an edge that Phony now has
Match
in the
7
standings
abis nih.
over his former teammates. Gotta
Banyak
be,
belum
gotta
kasih
be feeling
anjing.
really important, really fantastic, by
Sakit
the
perut.
way, for Legacy and Jesco as well. Guild was not a team that was performing poorly at the previous playoffs by any means. In fact, they were really praised for their game plans, their zone play. This version of the roster only seems to have bettered almost everything about itself, be it time, be it slightly different meshing, be it a little bit of a different
Bentar ya,
game plan,
digerak dulu dah.
whatever it may be, that secret sauce behind the scenes is turning into a Guild that is a force to be reckoned with on Sunday.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's also the fun, as you said, you know, teams are changing up and we're seeing success out of many different teams. And I think this also lies with the fact that different metas, you know, boost other people's individualities in a way that some can succeed better in certain metas. And I think a lot of these success stories that we have, we've kind of shied away from this whole just get 2 rollers with SMGs to now we're seeing the people that are better at perhaps handling their legends, you know, their abilities, their legends, their decision making in terms of like how do we bubble fight properly. Those people are now succeeding, which I think is good because being good at a game at a specific time and place is there's a different skill set in another meta, and seeing all of them is really nice.
Yeah, there is plenty of ways that people are always changing, developing, improving, and making us go wow in Apex Legends. But some people that make me go wow are over on the analyst desk, and so I'm going to hand you off to their very capable hands between these next few games.
Thank you, good sir. I was wondering how you're going to bring that together. Dia Graceful, great cast, and we'll continue to see you on as we have more games to go. Welcome back to the analyst desk. My name is Rain Day, hosting alongside Jamerson and Jayhawk and Urice, who we haven't seen on an ALGS broadcast in quite a long time. You know, I mean, I remember summer circuit days with you competing, and now, you know, I want you to help catch everybody up. Where have you been? What's been going on? I know you have a huge Japanese audience. Talk to us.
Yeah, it's been like, it really has been a long time since I played like competitive. I miss it. I miss this, just the wild, just the goosebumps and the adrenaline from competing. But I've been exploring like my options with Apex and the huge Japanese audience, and especially as you can see.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
It's just the amount of people in this, and it's not even the finals too.
Yeah. You know, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, and I've been learning Japanese as well. So if anyone needs translation, I can help you guys with it.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been an insane journey with here, and meeting my friends that I made through Apex here for the first time is such a pleasure. And yeah.
Well, it's great to have you. You're doing your watch party thing over there. We see you. You're having fun. You got the hoodie as well. That is a coveted new hoodie.
Yeah, I actually won this yesterday.
Did you really?
From the exhibition match, yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, we're lucky to have you. I know you've been watching. We'll get your thoughts in a second because we have those final circles to break down that just occurred in games 4, 5, and 6. However, I want to kick it off with Jamerson here and start talking about it because game 4 got us back into the race.
Yeah, we're seeing Aurora dominance here, another win for them, and honestly, they've been playing off of their prio so extremely well. Here on World's Edge, of course, we get this landslide ending. They drop on over at Survey Camp, and they were able to do a great job of whittling down the eastern side to ultimately get this position. I really want to note that their third-party timings on that Zone 3, Zone 4 to really clear out the traffic when they're rotating in has been extremely well done. We just saw them, of course, taking out Falcons on that same Zone 3 rotate to make it into the late game in game number 6. And that's a similar thing they did here, where they took out TSM on the eastern side with the third-party timing to ultimately get the win.
They have been a force to be reckoned with, a true point sponge, 79 points overall. And Jayhawk, it would lead to what felt like, you know, somebody needs to show up and contest these guys. Well, what do you know? Mr. Verholz, Reps, and Zap come in.
Yeah, Jamerson and I were talking in the green room that when we saw this zone pop, it looked like it was going to be a TSM or Aurora win. They were holding the north side of the map, and they did such a good job at maintaining that space. The weird part was when we got to this end game, there was actually enough cover for all 4 teams, TSM, Aurora, Falcons, and Furia, all just clumped into this tiny little spot. And when you get to that kind of a situation with all the cover from Rampart Walls, Newcastle, the Gibby Domes, I don't know who was going to win. Genuinely, I had no clue, but luckily TSM on the low ground just played their cover perfectly. They come in late, as you see the last Gibby bubble, and then when Verholz lets that Sheila sing, good things happen. And so, boom, down goes Aurora, down goes Furia, down goes Falcons, and TSM get the win.
Big shout out. I don't know why I thought of it, but Anjali Bhamani and Gabe Newell, our voice actors who join us and are such a big part of our community. Now, they asked for their characters to be meta last time in LA, and they are literally meta right now. So I know they're having fun watching it. And speaking of Japan, speaking Japanese, we have a lot of teams as well from APAC North Urice who have been dominating. Enter 34, Force 36, we've got Crazy Raccoon. What was your take on this final zone, which ended up being wild?
Yeah, so the thing with these final zones nowadays is a lot of it comes down to whoever like apes who. So with the meta having the walls, the rampart, the domes, you can stall for so long, being able to like it's whoever has the timing right that forces the other team to actually push to the other team and make them fight and get that perfect third party, which they did on that low ground and come up as they CR fought Aurora.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Aurora, very aggressive. They got Falcons out, but it was Guild who would stand the test of time in Game 6. And that man right there, maybe one of the more personal and powerful stories that we have to offer in the ALGS Championship. He hoisted a trophy, the very last one we had in Mannheim, and was immediately removed from the team that won. He had his own journey of wondering, would I even get back to championships? Now, sitting in 3rd place overall in the winner's bracket after that win. Phony not only proving he's got flexibility, proving that he can keep up with the best of the best. In the kill race, 9 kills so far in this winner's bracket, and he has already been near the top 5 coming into it. A huge improvement from him, Jay, and I think overall a testament that he is locked in and has something to prove.
Absolutely. Throughout his career, I'm thinking back to FaZe Clan when he's playing with Frex and Snipedown, even to his previous team with Zainu and Koi. He was never putting up huge numbers. He was not the fragger on those teams. And obviously, I mean, when you're playing with Zainu and Koi, it's kind of hard to, but he was never the one that was having to do that work. With this new Guild roster, all 3 players are obviously having to, but we've seen a massive improvement in terms of his output in fights, and I really do think that's incredibly noteworthy because it's putting Guild in a position like we see here on this leaderboard where they're going through to the finals with ease.
Jamerson, what catches your eye? Highlight or low light here? What are you looking at heading into our last 2?
Again, we had a lot of high expectations, Fnatic definitely being one of them.
Yeah.
Currently in 18th place with 17 points overall. This is the lowest points average they've had across maps in the series, and it's weird seeing, you know, the Giants fall in the home stadium right now, and hopefully, you know, with 2 maps left to go, they're really going to have to ramp it up. Luckily for them, though, they're sitting at about 20 points, right? And our cutoff yesterday was at 41 in the lower brackets.
Yeah.
So there is room for them, but they need to really get it together. I think they were really thrown for a loop for those first 2 initial games up against Team Liquid, getting caught out by them twice.
Yeah.
And then from there, they never really bounced back. But, you know, that was 6 games ago. So hopefully now they can actually do it.
That's the benefit. You've got 8 games. There's a long time between those early mistakes and what's happening now. But for Fnatic, a team that we expected would do well, but did even better than expected, winning the first game in Japan, they have now kind of lost a bit of steam. 2 games to decide if they can make it. But the benefit is, Uris, we have teams like Aurora and Interforce, even Guild here, who are taking so many of the points that 31-point threshold, that's really just one big game from Fnatic, and they are already in the top 10.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm thinking if Fnatic gets a good early fight in this next few games, getting that momentum to keep them alive for the entirety of the games, I think it'll set that pace till late game. Since a lot of these teams, especially the top teams that is inside this winner bracket, there's a lot of them placed inside that zone. So getting that fight outside the zone and getting that isolated fight can set you for the pace throughout the entire game.
I want to know something now, just because we have you before we start turning it back to these 2 games. What makes this experience being in Japan as a streamer, as a content creator? We know you've migrated so much of your attention to serve this audience. We're serving this audience. This audience is really serving us. This stadium is unbelievable from our perspective. It's full to the brim of people. What is it about this place that just makes you want to play and be in the esports scene?
It really is just like the energy of the fans, like showing them what you're capable of and hearing those screams when you fight other teams, like the excitement of the crowd. It really is just that adrenaline that comes from it, and especially like the Japanese fans who personally, like when you meet them in person in LANs, it's just incredible.
This is also not as full as it's going to be, if you can believe that. It's going to get even more full coming up on Sunday. Uris, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm excited to see more of your watch party. Before we let you go and turn it back over to the casters, I want your prediction on who you think is going to be the champion when it's all said and done after tomorrow.
Wait, so are we for this day?
No,
Yeah, for the entire thing?
I want your full prediction. Who's taking it?
Oh God, not to be biased, but I'm really rooting for Falcons.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really rooting for Falcons. I know
Okay.
they always have a slow start, but they always end up on top in the end. And I also want Fnatic to do really well and get their phase going. And I'm also thinking the Alliance and the Shopify on the top 3.
Okay. Shopify and Alliance and
Laba
Falcons
kali
probably
lah.
want
Ya, ting
Fnatic
15
to get the
menit.
job done as well, just
Sorry,
because
sorry.
we're in
15 menit.
APAC. Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. That's Yurice. Check out his watch party as well. He's doing it over on Twitch or over to the right of us, basically, on this desk if you're here in Daiwa House. Jamerson, Jayhawk will be back in a few. We've got the draft coming up after this, but 2 more games to determine who is going to Championship Sunday and who might be going home. Take it away, Dia. And Graceful, it's all you to close us out.
2 games, Graceful. It's so little. I know it's an 8-game set, but when it comes down to it, especially if you're like on the line right now, these 2 games are the only thing that matter.
That's the thing. You're now at the point where we need to go big or go home. Oh, sorry. Jeez. I said we're now at the point where you need to go big or go home.
Masra kali ka,
Where, teams that are below 20 points, they need huge games at this point. Well, 1 really big game or 2 solid games. And other teams that are, just a few points off. We saw yesterday FaZe die on 20th when they were almost out and they just made it past. You never want to be in a scenario where you die early and your results of making it through is dependent on how the game goes when you're dead. You never want to get there. So hopefully these teams can wake up a little bit and take it into their own hands, like Yuri said as well, perhaps by taking isolated earlier fights than just going straight into endgame, because it does end up being a little bit, I wouldn't say full RNG, but a little bit RNG to the degree that which team, if there's 3 or 4 bubbles, who pushes who will decide who actually get those kill points, because the 3Ps are most often the ones that get the kills.
Yeah, I mean, and there are just scenarios where you don't have a lot of power. I'm thinking of Enter Force 36 last game. Enter Force 36 didn't have a lot of power. They got pushed by Crazy Raccoon, and it was amazing. We called it out that they were able to repel that push. But when it comes down to it, Guild dropping on you, you haven't got anything to do about it. Even if you win the fight versus Guild, Crazy Raccoon are they're gonna jump right on top of that. Like you don't get to decide whether your game continues. You get to decide in those scenarios how many people you take with you, and that's just really tough. So putting yourself in a scenario where you always have the most impact over whether you get to continue or not, and then beyond that, just making the best decision possible to get yourself as many points is going to be the I want to say recipe for success, but it's so general that it's hardly a recipe.
And that's the thing is, I always like to say as well, always be proactive,
Mirage
don't be
lagi.
reactive. However, we've also
Mirage.
seen that bite their butts. TSM swinging those stairs was being proactive.
It was.
In a sense. However, doing it on a timing to where one guy swings the stairs by 1 ends up getting them punished. So being proactive is good. However, you need to be on the same page as your team. And same page we are going into this game, because the game is finally starting. I'm always itching for it to start. I love absolutely, the whole segment. But for me, gameplay is where it's at.
I mean, this was pretty fast. This one was pretty. Basically, as soon as we started talking, they started the game. Like it was right there, and good thing they did, because otherwise, Graceful, he gets away. He gets away. We're going to be starting off over with Guild. Not a bad choice, given that they won last game and now sit in 3rd overall. So this is a team that you are seeing on Sunday. They've absolutely written that in stone at this point in the game and the day. Coming out of Blossom Drive, they will have a little ways to go until the ring, as it does look like, and they've just gotten the information that we are going all the way over into the east by Game and Gladiators and 100 Thieves. Looks like a Heights ending to me, although we could be a little more Vibe Isle type.
Most likely it could be leading into Heights, as we've
Axel,
seen
ketemu
previous
Falcon.
zones
Let's
there
go.
and there, a
Bentar
little
lagi
bit
tuh
south
ketemu.
of the building, also one
Ayo.
north of the building, where Gaming
Belok
Gladiators
kanan.
is pretty much sitting
Nah.
softly.
Ketemu itu, bro.
However, other teams we saw the previous game, a lot of teams went for center zone, misread the zone, got super punished by needing to rotate in from the western side. Will they learn from that, or are they going, like, there's 2 ways you can go on about it. Guys, let's play mid speed, grab the second beacon, take a spot from then on. Or do they say, this is definitely the zone I'm calling, let's go back there again, and if it ends up pulling away from them, how will they react? Because that's the worst case scenario, but I think it should be fine.
And if you want to play for 3rd beacon as well,
Itu semua
you've
loh.
always got Humbert
Apa
Labs
namanya?
off to the south.
Itu
That's actually going to
poin.
be really close to zone. I'm looking a little
Pada
further
nggak
over at
mau
City
main
Hall
di
as well,
abis ini
being
coba.
another great place that you could grab
Ya
the
iyalah,
third
capek
beacon
coy.
read from.
8
If you wanted
match.
to play Edge,
Nanti 8 match
like
lagi.
Fnatic have been
Hitung
known
aja
to
satu
do
matchnya
on the
15 menit.
district.
15
This time they're
menit
going to be
kan
rotating
8.
over to the south, so if they wanted to grab third beacon information, they're likely going to be one of those
Bisa
folks
lebih
going
sih.
through Old Town and Humbert Labs to do so.
Yeah, most definitely. We've seen their macro before. They like to play it a little bit slow, unless the zone is pulling straight on top of them, in which case they like to offer power spots. However, I think that it's I don't know, it's gonna be tough. 17 points, 18 going into this game. They're gonna need to do something else, because even at the end of the day, if you only get placement points but no kills, will that be enough to push them into the top 10? You know, remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Fnatic, 17 points. The cutoff for 10th right now is 31.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge differential, but you got to remember that even those teams that are in 10th are going to be getting
Ketemu
points
sih
this
itu,
game.
Pak.
So
Mungkin nggak ketemu
it
dia.
is going to be higher than 31. The question is just
Tinggal
by how
nyari high
much.
ground.
How much spread
Walah,
of points will we
kena
see?
sandwich leh.
100 Thieves going to be expending a bubble to get everyone back up. I don't expect them to be actually pushed by C9 at this point in the game, however, as C9, they've got better things to do. Find another spot in zone, another spot in Heights, as right now, if you are going to go center zone, Heights really is the place to be. There's a lot of spots that you can coexist in. Game Gladiators, unfortunately, not going to be taking anyone out of the sky today.
Yeah, I mean, they're just shooting at everybody, opting to get more, you know, Evo, so they can get purple perhaps. C9 doing exactly that. This is what I like about a lot of the teams, because in scrims, what you see that down, they are bubbling at them and just wiping them.
Yeah.
On LAN or in actual tournaments or high-stakes scenarios, even online tournaments, you see that they get that down, they use that time for them to recover, to go for the objective, get a better spot in the zone. And I like seeing that, because, you know, they're kind of on the middle of the pack to where they're not safe just yet, but making those types of plays will definitely put you in scenarios to where you can make yourself comfortable on the top if they play it outright.
You know, it reminds me of, like, you know how every meta sort of
Nah,
like emphasizes
ketemu dapet tuh perang.
I'm gonna have to talk about this later, because Go Next have just walked straight into another squad. This is not a good spot for them to be against EXO, but Yarka technically alive, and Go Next all making it out for the moment aren't going to get EXO completely aping them. That was a very dangerous situation that they are lucky to be alive after.
They were so low that I promise you, if they just lost just a little bit more HP, that fight would have exploded. EXO decided to also disengage after that wall came out, and, you know, they both traded a little bit more, and I think that's better for the both of them, because they both are kind of in need
Dia
of
udah
points.
dapat compound, percuma lu masukin.
Yeah, it was that close.
Yeah.
Daripada
I
lu
can't believe
mati,
they're alive,
kok.
and honestly, they probably can't either, but holding on to this spot for now, not what Go Next were going for, but after that last play, I think you're recognizing that it may be one of the better spots you're going to get until later on, where Go Next can choose to play a little more aggressively in third party, which it has been the recipe for success for people like E36 throughout the course of these games.
Yeah, most definitely. And one of the funniest things as well is that, you know, I'm seeing a little bit to the side, Aurora is opting to play Mirage once again, getting more objectives on the map. And yeah, playing super slow like always. Some teams, you know, like we said, your secret sauce for the recipe essentially is that some teams have been working and they don't need to change anything up, which is what we see from some teams. I keep saying that, you know, they have been switching things up from center zone to maybe mid-speed. Some teams haven't done anything. It's been working. And sometimes that's all you need to do. Just keep staying disciplined and keep exercising those, you know, what you did in Scream is now working. Aurora on the map, like I said, look at where they are. One is down top left, one is down below, and they're just stacking objective points because that's their playstyle. I remember playing with them in a tournament where they say, Grace, all we have to do is get purple armor and we can win any fight. And when you have that mindset, which they have shown in this lobby, you know, that's rooting for something good to happen, and I like that.
I bet if they could drop at 3 different POIs, they would.
Yeah, probably, yeah, they would. They would.
I mean, with how easy it is to get your teammates back into the game in this meta, with being able to craft them so easily. And
even more so.
Yeah, I mean, the speed of mobile respawn beacons as well. It's just, I mean, you've got so many options. Right now, I have no doubt they'll be able to group back up.
Ooh, look at that.
Area still technically in between them. What am I looking at?
A little bit south. Anti-436 knocked them Alliance as well, all looking very close to each other. Something could be happening there. Bamboozles as well. Mirage with 50% more foozles. Have not seen that one actually, because when I'm in game, I'm kind of logged in. But yeah, teams are finding each other on macro now, because now we're getting to the point where all those teams that went early are still in the next zone. So no major macros or even micro, depending on how close they are to the next zone, has to happen just yet. All the other teams that are on edge, however, are starting to sniff each other out or see each other now at this point. So I am expecting a little bit more action to erupt as Circle 2 closing, or perhaps a little bit
Ketemu nggak sih itu?
Yeah, a lot more squads are going to be
Knock
aware of where
sama
Noctem is rotating in from.
Alliance.
Noctem, again, definitely a
Sama
team
jauh
to
ternyata.
keep your eyes on. They're a very scary squad on E-District and have taken out a lot of unsuspecting squads so far. However, off here in the north, Shopify Rebellion and Liquid Alienware. Two teams very interesting for different reasons today. Liquid Alienware have been super deadly, but they got taken out last round. So I wonder if they can turn things around this time. Shopify Rebellion, on the other hand, super deadly team in the group stage, but much, much quieter now that we've hit the elimination rounds.
And that's kind of also the thing, is that a lot of people like to jump to the conclusion, oh, you know, they're washed or they didn't have a good blah, blah, blah. But there's only so many teams that can pop off, right? When you have three teams dominating the lobby, not everybody can do that. But they were sitting, you know, at 8th right now with 34 points. They might have been quiet, but they've been racking up points. They're almost there. So all they need is that a little bit of a push straight in, and I would expect them to move on into the next round.
It's okay. I didn't believe Lace when she said you were washed.
I showed it as well.
Liquid Alienware set up on height right now. Remember, still do have Shopify Rebellion behind them, so if they didn't know it now, well, they know it before. If they didn't know before, well, they know it now. That's the way that goes. That's how time flows. Now, Green Stego in front of them as well. Team Liquid are going to have to, in a way, fight both teams. Should Shopify Rebellion rotate this way, since Green Stego will be looking for a third party should the opportunity present itself. Meanwhile, Guild, we're actually sat in a pretty good spot in zone. I've got lots of cover, plenty of space, but I wouldn't say a fantastic position for the late game yet, mostly because you can't really say that yet. We don't have the data to know whether Guild are going to be a power spot, but what we do know is that it's flexible, and that at the very least will benefit them.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you opt for as you go into these games, is that you, it's very rarely, like I always say, you should never lock, unless you know where the zone is ending, never lock yourself, remove your options where you're only locked into one thing happening. You want to be in a spot to where, if it pulls south, we can do this. If it pulls north, we can do this, and react accordingly. As we see Knock as well, everybody's just waiting for the next zone to fully close, but people are also showing their team saying, hey, I know you're also waiting, but don't think about anything, because you never know when people start triple swinging with bubble at this point, and I like that. They're staying aware.
Going to be about showing presence as Remix Powers does eat a Gibby ultimate for a second. Going up against Virtus Pro. This fight's really kicking off. Noctem have no defensive cooldowns, however, and Remix Powers gets caught completely outside it without cover of the team. As the Newcastle being the first to go down, that likely means that Noctem are going down. Virtus Pro's taking a big chunk out of them so far. Complexity are even helping out, and Noctem are going to bleed out in the open.
Not a big fan of that fight that Noctem tried to push. Show Remix Powers, overextended and got super punished by Sheila for it. I still don't like that fight specifically because why are you trying a fight? There's 7 teams around us. We're going to get thirded. And luckily, only they got pinched and shot from far. But I'm sure that the opposite team, however, EP, very happy with that because, hey, you gave us a free opener, we're gonna take you guys down.
That's one of the parts where you can feel righteous anger as Virtus Pro. You're like, you pushed me, are you serious? But now Virtus Pro, they're the ones that are gonna have to do some pushing. Taking a look at the zone, us going up north is going to be pretty difficult for Virtus Pro, for Fnatic, for Go Next, for Guild. Fnatic already making some moves. On to Go Next, however. A team that has been very aggressive so far. I like the nade placement that they've got, but Fnatic have yet to actually find purchase in a way that makes me think they're going to win this fight instead. We just know that they're taking it. With UKF going down, it's not even looking that good.
Not only that, but they're also getting shot from behind. That fight was definitely rough. Tunnel fights like this where you have to actually climb, you place your walls, you have to climb over it, and then they got split and Yuka got down early. It's going to be really hard regardless, because at some point, you're going to have 3 people holding whether you climb or if you swing aside. And when that space is so minuscule, you're bound to get hit, which, they all got caught and they just got smoked.
GG, still up on Heights, still overlooking everything. Let's not forget that Heights is their territory. And they're looking down at Falcons right now. GG are going to have to move. Falcons may very well be the recipients of them, but I want to talk for a second about Crazy Raccoon, a team right on the edge of qualification and a team in a very good spot this round. This is their penultimate game of the series, and it could be the game that pushes them into qualification for the winner's bracket. Right here on the north end of zone, they should have all the space in the world, all the time in the world, and Crazy Raccoon, they've already got world champions on their team.
They also might get even more kills because this zone is leading towards their side. The congested side would actually be the southern, southwest, and east side. We'll have to see if Shopify on the west side of the map can hold their side. However, everybody's just looking to gatekeep at this point because the zone did pull off of where everybody set up early.
Liquid Alienware going to be moving in from the north as well as E36 start jumping in from the western side. This evac going to actually be very nice for them as up into the skies they descend into this very small corner that no one's really able to look at. Newcastle ultimate expenditure I think is a bit premature, but it gives them the opportunity to get the cooldown back for later on. It's not going to be the thing that really keeps them alive, but it may provide just that necessary bit of cover. Watch the bubble cooldown, and that goes for everyone as Crazy Raccoon start looking out themselves, taking a fight up against Green Stego for dominance of this building that is now even further into zone and a much better spot for Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah, they were looking. This is the most important part. I told you before as well. You need to look for this. Like, you at least have to try and see if you can catch somebody off guard and get it down. They said, hey, we didn't catch anybody. Let's just set up on the roof. I think that's a smart choice because they are actually in a super solid spot for the next zone. And now they're just chilling, holding everybody out, hoping that other teams run into each other. And maybe they could catch some kills coming closer towards the zone.
Now, the only teams that have been eliminated so far were teams that were already outside of the top 10. So Noctum, Fnatic, and ExoClan simply are not getting the opportunity to increase their points and will be having to do that next game, if at all. Everyone else in this lobby, or at least the majority of them, are actually in a position where they have qualified. Looking a little bit further down are teams like Virtus Pro, Green Stego, who have Crazy Raccoon on top of them. Those are the teams that really have a lot of pressure to perform. I'm going to include complexity and even Gaming Gladiators in that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of the teams on the bottom end have gotten knocked out. However, a lot of the teams in the middle of the pack are still up live and running. And the thing is that means the average of the lobby will go up again. Probably not to the extent as yesterday, maybe. But it's definitely interesting to see as more teams have moved into the next zone, feeling kind of comfortable. I think the next fight will probably happen on the south side into southwest side. As we see kills going down in kill feed right now, it's gonna be messy.
Udah lu, di under aja udah.
Go next, hoping to avoid
main aja kanan kiri tuh. Nah.
Newcastle wall right here, not terrible, but still, they know it, leaving their backs exposed, hoping that nobody drops down on top of them. Go next, will survive for now, where Aurora in a slightly tougher spot have Alliance looking down over them. Guild suffering some losses in the kill feed as well, because we've got a lot of teams that are being taken apart. 100 Thieves going to be the first one to be fully eviscerated, taken out at 17th place. As 100 Thieves fall, Aurora, I think, are looking like the next squad. Alliance only hesitant about giving up high ground, but they're going to go for it all together, swinging into the bubble. Unlucky helps out, and Aurora will go down. 15 squads left.
As the kill feed lights up, we can see what I said about Messi. Everybody's starting to fight now because they're forced to fight. However, Alliance pretty close to the next zone, actually. And they're just making sure that, hey, we just got a team wipe. We already looted. We need to reset. Now, seeing also CR still staying up on that roof. Now they're on the bad side because it pulled south instead of north. They will have to move towards the zone where Alliance was sitting kind of comfortably. Will we see even more fights happening northwest into north now?
Let's not forget that other team up in the north, Liquid Alienware, gonna have a lot of pressure on them to move down further south. Cloud9 in an interesting spot all the way off to the eastern side of the ring. Could start to make their way in, but gonna be a risky game for them as well. Unfortunately, Graceful, for a lot of these teams, time is up. The zone is starting to close.
Yes, zone is closing, and now teams have to make the decision. Will we fight, or will we rotate in? Because all the other teams have the same opinions, and now C9 and GG looking at each other, staring each other down menacingly from bubbles to bubbles. And now GD is in a solid spot to gatekeep other teams, but with
Ah,
the
bocek.
opposite
Udah
side,
lama nggak liat bocek
C9
gua.
be caught by the other remainder 4 teams coming in from the same side.
Gaming Gladiators and C9 both gonna have to fight, but Crazy Raccoon begin their fight up against the Falcons. They've lost 2. It's just Jusna who's gonna try and stick the res. The Falcons are chasing for the kill. Jusna pulls off the res and immediately goes down, but Sangjun is alive for just a little while longer. As both Falcons and Crazy Raccoon will go down. Cloud9 inheriting those knocks, those kill points, and staying alive, but they turn the corner into that. TSM mowing through Sorcerer and taking him down. Now has TSM in a better spot on the low ground. C9 still alive, and GG who held out Cloud9 earlier, have a pretty good spot as well. Lots of cover, lots of high ground. This could be their game.
I asked if C9 was going to get held out by the several teams. They managed to join the fray lane and get kills, and then they get held out because there's such a big collapse on one side of the map when people misread the zone or if the zone pulls away from them. And now we're seeing Gaming Gladiators, who walked in a little bit earlier to set up, is having huge success by it.
Now let's not forget, Enter Force 36 flew into this low ground ages ago. And they're still on the low ground. I haven't seen them in the kill feed. They are completely unbothered. Newcastle wall and everything. Furia, unfortunately, will go down. Liquid Alienware hitting a respawn. But Enter Force 36 still chilling in the middle of the zone. We gotta look out for them in the kill feed.
This is the craziest part. They took that spot way before the zone.
So early.
Way before the
Tinggal
zone.
1 orang loh.
But now we're seeing the kill feed line up
Jangan
again
nembak.
as
Nggak usah
Effect
iseng.
takes down
Nggak usah iseng kok.
Jack
Sumpah, nggak usah iseng.
T-Law,
Lu
and
diem
now
di situ.
Neosul as well. Huge fights are breaking out. Poor Shubi tried to rat the best way he could. Got killed by E36, so they're keeping an eyes out, even though they're not fully committing to something. They're still looking for these kills as GG needs to walk in with the zone shortly.
I mean, they looked hard
Itu
scoped on that
maju,
corner. That
TSM
was
masih
a
hold.
very quick kill.
Biarin mereka perang.
Liquid
TSM
Alienware
terus
gonna go down.
masuk.
Gaming Gladiators up against Complexity, as both have already bubbled. This fight is sure to happen. Gaming Gladiators do not want to give up the high ground, and Complexity physically cannot. Bubble's gonna go down soon, and it's just going to become a free fire fest as finally enemy whips out the Sheila. Blast's doing exactly the same on the other side. Lufka slams on Complexity. The slave comes right back from Complexity, but with Lane on the flank, Complexity get taken down, taken apart. Gaming Gladiators owning the high ground. E36 collecting kills on the low ground as well. Remember, they've actually just wiped a squad and have a catalyst wall letting them reset.
Fights on the top, fights on the bottom. They clear up height and they actually get down, but they get to reset for free on height. Alliance pretty much ending, and now Go Next is going into a fight here. We'll have to see.
Alliance wipe E36 in that time. Good awareness from them as the catalyst wall drops. 3 teams left. GG, Go Next, and Alliance all on the low ground. It is just GG up on height who need to force these 2 teams together. Can they find a creative way to push Alliance and Go Next together? Do they even have to? Go Next take the high ground. They cannot hold on to this. Bubble for a second though. And Gaming Gladiators set up to watch everything. This should be their game. There should be no question. GG should have everything. Go Next commit onto the low ground. Alliance know they're going to fight. That is a huge lead on GG. But they've got time to reset for just a second. They're going to be dropping down soon. In come GG. Another catalyst will separate the fight. Go Next. Take the high ground instead. Alley-ooping everything as they finally drop down. It will be Go Next. It will be Go Next that avoid the fight and take the win.
I was a little bit scared about that bubble, but they managed to close out the game, which was humongous from them. From cleaning up that fight on high ground earlier, where we saw like 3 cracks from 1 shotgun, was crazy. They have been consistently popping off now, and we've seen this throughout the entire tournament. They've had their moments. This is just another one of them.
1 match lagi.
Will they keep this form up going into the next
Aku
game?
sudah
Because
tidak
that
kuat.
game pretty much secured the
Rebahan dulu,
top
guys.
of this leaderboard as we're going into, you know, our final game later.
I mean, it's moved Go Next up to 7th place. Higher than they were this entire day. And a much-deserved finish for Go Next, who again, looking at the way that they played that end game, it may be a little bit unorthodox. It may not be the way that every team would play it. The way that they swap with GG, who gave up height prematurely to drop down, was the biggest factor in Go Next's victory.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes you just, you know, that evac got taken as they saw the drop. I mean, and I think the drop happened because of the bubble. I was thinking of the opposite team. The bubble came out, they looked up and they could shoot everybody. They decided to drop down low. They said, they dropped down low, let's go up high.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, that situational awareness in the top 3 scenario on land on the biggest stage we've ever been at in Japan right now is definitely, it's showing promise for future games for this team.
I mean, I can assure you that 99.9% of people see GG drop and go, good, now we all fight.
Yeah.
And Go Next weren't thinking about how to win the fight. They were thinking about how to win the game. Like, really, really nice awareness to go, we don't actually have to shoot anyone. Let's get up top. And, I mean, it gets them a first place. It is 15 points to the 18 that GG managed to secure with their second. So still a good game for both teams, to be sure. Near some of our top performers from that last game. I think it'll come as no surprise that Alliance have 2 up there and GG with another 2.
Yeah, and I mean, not only did that pretty much secure other teams, Alliance also got secured by that game, I would like to believe, now on 55. We see 79, 78, 55, 55, 55, 44, 42, and that's pretty much where we can assume the cutoff will be at, around top 7 currently, where Go Next is sitting at. Depends on how much it moves up, because if it comes down to yesterday, where, you know, teams that are at that stage die very early, then it becomes scary. But I think we'll have to see, because this, like I said, this map, a lot of teams are staying alive rather than on opposite side maps. Is yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I always like these last games because they're the most exciting ones.
Oh yeah, like this is where it really comes down to the wire, where yesterday it came down to tiebreakers in the group stage as well. There is a lot of pressure in this last game, and a team like Go Next, who just managed to secure a win, are, I would say, safer than some, but not safe by a huge margin. 42 points when the cutoff for 10th is currently 39, where 11th holds 35 points. Go Next are, at times, a high-risk team. We saw them almost be taken down in that game by ExoClan. We've seen them take really early fights with TSM, and all these things are risks that they're taking. So, knowing now that they're in 7th, I do wonder whether Go Next's game plan will significantly shift, or whether they'll continue with that same style that we've come to love Go Next for. I mean, Uchako and Hyarka, you talked about it. I wouldn't say that they're a stylistically very different team than they were a couple of years ago. Yes, they may have changed IGL since we saw them in Raleigh, but this is a team that has been doing the same thing for a very long time. And so I do wonder whether E-District, this last game, will bring us something different. What is certain is that it will bring us those folks that are going up to Championship Sunday. A lot of excitement to look forward to, and we'll see you in a few.
Match terakhir, come on. Dulu lah, ayo.
Not a good play, help me.
Coming in from NT.
You're on Latte.
Strong.
Sony In Zone, the official monitor of the Apex Legends Global Series. Welcome back to the ALGS here in Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan, where we've got not only the best players, but the best cosplayers in the world. These guys have been walking around the arena all day. In fact, throughout the past couple of days, I've seen them. And you and I saw a group as we came in to the lobby today, Graceful. Wraith, I will be honest, scared me.
I mean, scared you. The thing that I got surprised by was the Phoenix kit. I was like, oh my god, is this an invisible mirage with the, with the Phoenix kit in hand jumping at me? No, it was just a cosplay of a Phoenix. I like all of them. Very well made. I could never imagine even having the creativity and talent to pull that off, but they all look very beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done anything but the budget cosplays, and so like actually getting to see basically in-game characters right in front of you with the level of detail just as you're used to when you're actually playing the game is pretty incredible. It's almost jarring to see the realism of Apex Legends, but in your actual like physical, tangible life. They've also, of course, been really incredible, very polite folks. Getting to run into some of the cosplayers. Of course, there is a language barrier for me, so I've mostly just gone, this is amazing, thank you. Very nice. But they've all been really lovely and in character as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have it all. We have amazing gameplay. We have the amazing audience. Friends and lovers meeting through the game are here to meet each other. And we have the ice sculptures outside that look phenomenal. We have the cosplayers from the in-game characters that we love and dare so much. I think, you know, it's just a wonderful event, and seeing these cosplayers specifically to me brings it, you know, a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, with the ice sculptures, with the cosplayers, and with the, of course, ALGS that's happening, while everybody from the community here in Japan gets to meet each other, it is an incredible check of the game that has brought us all together, because while we are here to celebrate what greatness looks like in this game, at the very same time, what's happening in the stands, I mean, people aren't just hanging out with Phony the whole time. People aren't just talking to Hal or, like, I don't know, speaking with Sang Jun, you know, texting him on the side going, hey, I hope you have a great match. Like, they're here because, yes, these players are amazing, but because the people in the stands next to them are just as much. The people in the stands next to them, those cosplayers, for example, are reasons that we keep playing the game, because they are passionate about the community and they are here to make sure that everyone has a good time, because that's what they'd want for the people that enjoy this game just as much as they do. Now, for the game that is actually about to happen, this is the last game of the first round of the winners, which means that the teams that are in the top 10 at the end of this game will be moving on to Championship Sunday. Those teams that are in the bottom 10, they get the stick. This is where you would move down to Elimination Round 2 and risk your very life in the biggest land that Apex Legends has ever seen. So E-District, yes, she has been kind. She has given teams a lot of opportunities to succeed, given us gameplay that we've never seen before on land with some of the best teams. But now, E-District is here to both give and take away.
Give and take away indeed.
Master
Some of these
gini kan
teams are
biasanya udah
looking
pada
to
nggak
fight early,
fokus.
some of these teams are looking to fight a little bit later. However, we're all here for one thing and one thing only, getting that dub at the end. And we've seen some teams succeed in, you know, taking earlier fights, but I don't know. Will we see it now? Like you said, some teams are right at the cusp of making it into the finals. And now, will they change up their strat? Do we do what just worked right now? Or do we play it a little bit more safe by going perhaps earlier into the zone?
It's those squads that are much lower down that are going to really cause a fuss. Teams like ExoClan. ExoClan really not in a position to qualify right now. 25 points, 15th place. Are going to need kills. And they're going to need kills, and a lot of them, in order to qualify to Championship Sunday with this game. And so a team like ExoClan is going to throw a wrench into other squads' game plans. Yes, they're rotating early, but expect ExoClan to look for fights. Expect them, like last game, to be ratting on teams to see if they can pick up kills, because it is the only thing that will put them into the top 10. Now, speaking of ExoClan's early rotation, it is worth noting officially that we are going down towards the south end of E-District this time around, where Alliance already have a pretty good spot in the zone should they want it. Ring console is already theirs, so Alliance do know that the zone will be pulling nearby.
Yeah, I mean, if this pulls all the way south, I'm happy. If this pulls up towards the bridge, I'm happy. If this pulls into draft pod, my favorite spot, I am very happy. We will see as, you know, teams are already starting to set up in the center of the zone. I believe that these teams, like you said,
Ring
that
one
are on the
closing.
bottom half of the league we're currently in this lobby is throwing out Hail Marys, you know.
Shopify Rebellion and Fnatic already actually getting into it. Fnatic 18th place right now, so another team that very much needs the kills. They're going to double swing out onto Zainu, but doesn't look like they actually do enough damage. Instead, they're getting a lot dealt right back at them, and a lot of utility being used to unseat Fnatic. Shopify Rebellion do not want to mess with this.
I mean, I talked about Hail Marys. We already saw like 5 Skynades, and Fnatic trying to change, getting Skynade 5 times, and now they're opting for Skynades. Everybody's throwing whatever they have in the inventory at the other team, because now it's do or die.
Doesn't Zainu. That was close. That was close. Shopify Rebellion playing a good defensive game.
Wah, crazy rakunnya. Kok udah go down anjir?
Where are out for blood?
I mean, they were sitting not that comfortably before. They're definitely not sitting comfortably now.
No.
You know, it's gonna be, it's rough. Shopify, however, decided to opt to go out. They both tried, and I think they both used about 10
Dia
nades.
masih
And they
peringkat
say, hey,
11 so
let's go
belum
our
aman
separate
anjir.
ways, and we'll maybe meet each other in endgame.
And just to clarify, that will mean the Crazy Raccoon are fighting out of Elim round 2. So, very risky place for them to be. Unfortunate, but Liquid Alienware are the benefactors. And Liquid Alienware at 6th, I wouldn't say needed the points, but it's certainly going to help cement them into Championship Sunday, which seems to be their biggest goal right now. A Liquid Alienware that, yes, started the group stage a little bit slow, has really come into team fighting form, especially here in the winner's bracket. Now Fnatic having already lost one. Meltstera that fell to Shopify Rebellion. Zainu striking back. So Fnatic will likely be losing not just the one for now, giving up the point, but not giving up their lives.
They did decide to disengage and then re-engage. Now Fnatic needs to go to find another spot to reset at. And yes, as you said, CR is now officially in the lower rounds too, where they will be fighting for the tournament live. However, teams in this lobby are still fighting. A lot of these teams are still fighting to make it into the finals championship on Sunday, whereas other people are really trying their best to make sure they don't go down into loser 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm putting Shopify Rebellion like really right on that line.
Yeah.
They're going to be very happy they collected a point because they're sitting in 11th right now. A reminder, guys, that the cutoff is 10th. So every point really mattering for Virtus Pro. That could not be more true. 20th place, Virtus Pro need all the help they can get.
They need sweet baby Jesus is what they need. They're on 20th with 10th right now. They need to drop a humongous bomb because now, I don't even know, 12 points for a win. That puts them at 22. If the cutoff ends up being being 40, let's just say that to be nice, that means they need 18 kills. And now we're at the stage where, can you drop a 20 bomb like we saw, you know, earlier in the series? I don't know. It's definitely hard. Not every team can pull it off, but if they want to pull it off, it's right now.
For Virtus Pro, it would have to be a record-breaking game. Like literally something we have not yet seen in this championship. And I'm not going to put it too far beyond them. I mean, we've seen some crazy stuff from this roster, but perhaps nothing that completely wild, at least since the start of this LAN. So it'll have to be a very different look at the roster. Now, Furia, certainly a team that is not safe in their position just yet. 9th place overall. You go next. Definitely not safe right now. I mean, their spot is good, 7th, but
Wall bossnya bagus
losing
banget.
most of the health on Izzadan
Pada bisa.
cannot bode well, and
Knock
Izzadan's going to
satu.
go down as well. Nobody there to res
Hati.
Izzadan, so
Di post.
Falcons jumping right on top of this are looking for the kill.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons is still lurking for kills because they're also
Langsung di revive
qualifying into the
ding.
next round. Now, they got a pick, but they didn't get the thirst, I believe. And they're chasing it down, but they got to reset. Now it's going to be a little bit harder because they're kind of on that same pace as other teams are right now, where people are actually opting to play not nearly as much in center as we saw previously.
They're still looking for Izzadan, or they were for a moment. Seeing that Green Stego were here, though, I think it's a good call from Falcons to disengage. Go Next have been trying to disengage for a while, and now that they've made it work, they will have space from both teams that don't want to risk committing to the fight, getting third-partied. I mean, especially Falcons. There's already a lot of pressure on the team. They're sitting in 10th right now. They're right on the bubble. If Falcons overcommit, if Falcons drop down to Elim round 2, you already know the internet's going to have a field day.
Oh yeah, feel the hint. People are sometimes hoping for you to do well, and sometimes people are preying on your downfall. That's just how it goes when you're that good and people are, you know, wanting to see you either succeed or fall.
Now TSM do go down, they do fall. Sitting in 5th place overall, however. They are more likely to be safe than others.
Yeah, most definitely. Sitting at
Kan bener
55
kan,
will put them most
match
definitely
terakhir
in
itu
the upper
biasanya
bracket.
udah pada
And I feel like
ngablu,
TSM
udah
hasn't been
pada
talked about that
ngantuk.
much because, you know,
Udah
they're
pada
always kind of under the
pusing.
radar, but they're always up top, like they're always putting up good numbers, and we see that 55 points is not bad at all. Making sure they go ease into the next round.
I mean, they have easily been TSM. Not to talk about them too much after they've died, but they've
Bayangin
easily
aja abis
been,
ini kan nanti lo
in my
istirahat 30
estimation,
menit main
one
lagi
of the
anjir.
best in role
8
across
match.
each of their respective roles, be it Rampart, Newcastle, Gibby.
16 sehari.
The anchoring from reps today has been impeccable, and Verhulst's Rampart has given me a lot to work on.
Yep, as we see as well on the minimap right there, teams are now, you know, they just got the knowledge of, hey, this is where the next zone is going. People are opting in to go in, but E36 still in a bubble fight here, going into VP, trading.
They take out Enter Force 36. The 20th place team moves up to 19th and eliminates one of the monsters of this lobby. Now Enter Force 36 are safe.
They're safe.
But this is big for Virtus.pro.
This is a good momentum shift that they've needed. They've been on, you know, at the absolute bottom. Hopefully they can climb their way up top. Is it too late? I don't know, but this is a good start.
It is. They've already gotten more points than their average in the course of these games. So Virtus.pro, I mean, yes, it would be impossible, but especially now they've taken out Enter Force 36, we got to acknowledge how cool it would be if they're able to make something work now. Falcons, not a lot of space to work with, but they found a spot in draft point to hold for now, though it may not be the safest place. At least nobody's sending them.
Yeah, I mean, these buildings in the water are not really that much fun when they're pushing your building, but since people are just opting to hold their spot rather than push people for power spots currently, it is fine for them to stay here. They can stay here for a little bit before they gotta move on. Other teams, however, have started opting a little bit more outside of draft point towards the south side, where we saw, you know, the likes of EXO was earlier. They're still in the center zone. Furia, however, looking to gatekeep people walking in deeper because they want to see if they can catch somebody off guard on road.
Mana itu? Low banget.
Furia sitting at 9th, could use the points. Zero's gone down. If Furia eliminate Falcons, they make their own spot so much safer and likely push Falcons down to the lower bracket. But they're very scared of giving up their spot. They're not going to need to. A Zero, at the very least, will be full thirsted, and Howl to follow immediately. That's 2 big kills for Furia, and they could, I remind you, could eliminate Falcons right here. They're running across the bridge to do it. It is just Waltzy left for Falcons, who would really love to hold on to this winner's bracket spot, but it's looking impossible.
Yeah, Falcons right now running for their life to make sure they don't fall into the other lobby downstairs. And now Waltzy trying his best, you know, but he's getting chased down by Furia slowly but surely. Will he run into Furia or will he run into the other teams on edge also rotating in currently?
I think Furia are going to give up the chase. Waltzy's gone a pretty far distance, and never mind!
Whoa!
Baxlon arrives from the sky. He's looking. He hasn't found him yet. He hasn't found him.
Enggak ketemu.
Waltzy's getting out. Waltzy's going back for the banners.
Oh! He's actually making a... That was a great rat play. He actually waited for them to keep going to the opposite side, and now he's just full-on sprinting. He actually managed to get both banners, and let's see if he can find a way to get them back in. He does have a Moby, but if he pops that too early, other teams will most definitely look to punish that.
Harusnya
However, if he can make it to maybe a taller building where there's an upper floor, things could happen for a good reason.
I thought he was cooked. But no.
Tapi lumayan sih dapat 2 kill itu si
for Waltzy to get the rest of the team back in.
Furia.
At this point, just surviving is enough
2 poin
for
lumayan.
Falcons.
Nggak jadi Cin.
Game and
tapi
Gladiators
udah
find
berhasil
them.
itu.
Waltzy is down, but Falcons are still respawning. They've got to survive Game and Gladiators. Can they do it? As Hal and
Apakah
Zero
bisa?
jump out of the
Langsung.
dropship. Zero is history, and Hal hits the floor, immediately picks him up. Furia are here to say thanks, but no thanks. And Imperial Hal goes down. Team Falcons are out. And Furia secure their spot over Team Falcons on Sunday. Falcons currently sitting in 10th are almost sure
Wah,
to
Falcon
lose
itu
their
sih
spot,
nanti
are
main
almost
lagi.
sure to be playing out of Elim round 2.
They would need more,
Fix main lagi sih
or
itu.
more teams to not get any points at all to pass them. When we're only talking about 3 points, 6 points, 8 points, you know, the
Yang udah
likelihood of
pasti
them
itu
going
Crazy
into the
Raccoon.
lower bracket is very high.
Udah nggak bisa
However,
itu.
on the other side of things, you know, Furia got a few amount of points. Shopify Rebellion still in it to make it. A lot of these teams are looking to solidify their spot at the top
100 Thieves dodging in and out of Arc Stars.
Lari aja udah lari. Daripada lu 16.
The pressure is really on in E-District.
16 match,
Timmy's
Cok.
going to get to pop a bat down low. I do wonder about whether this roster, much like I was thinking about Falcons earlier, I do wonder whether they'll really be able to survive. 100 Thieves are in 12th right now, so survival does mean quite a bit, as they are right on the cusp of being able to overtake a team like Falcons.
Yeah, and I mean, we also see the zone pull on the map.
Ah,
Getting chased down by Lions, 100 Thieves gets eliminated on 12th spot, I believe.
16
They are
match,
also
coy timingnya
Alliance,
anjir.
however, almost got punished here by VP, as VP is still in it. They might have been 20th, but they are racking up kills right now.
That's another one. Another big point going to Virtus Pro. Now they're still sitting in 19th. But every kill, every point is gonna matter. I don't know, man. this miracle run, I mean, it's building, but it would have to be something else. It would have to be an inhuman game from Virtus Pro. I can't bring myself to deny it, but I can't be sitting here and telling you it's likely.
I'm not saying it's likely, but there's a possibility when you have that roster. Fnatic fighting Furia.
This means the world of Fnatic. Furia just looking for the extra points. UKF drops down, and it's Madness that's going to fall first. Trade on Leica, though, as Green Stego get involved. Backslide trades back onto UKF, and it's just Meltstera, who would sure love to take out Furia, but is getting shot from above by Green Stego. The melee doesn't connect. Furia take out Fnatic, and Fnatic will be playing from Elim round 2.
Fnatic also going out early, needing to reload that shotgun was the saddest point I've seen. Reminded me of yesterday. However, Virtus Pro still alive and thriving, shooting at Alliance toes from underneath the bridge.
Furia are the reapers of this lobby.
They are.
The teams that are on the line, the teams that have almost made it. Furia are finding them, and they are deleting them. Shopify Rebellion could be next on the list. They are right there. They are on the cusp of making it into the finals. And you know that that's going to draw Furia to you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's looking to throw hands at this last game because now it's do or die for a lot of these teams. And you know as well, a lot of the teams that are on the bottom are still alive. None of them are scared to try to get more points because that's what they need if they want to make it through. It's either get minimum 15 kills or more, or we're gonna go into the lower brackets. What really do they have to lose?
It's true.
Orang gila mana yang pengen main di lower tuh? Capek.
To the credit of a lot of our teams, they are trying things. Whether or not they are
Habis dari
succeeding,
lower terus final,
it is really just I mean, a matter of running your face into the wall enough times for some of these squads. Go next. I think feeling like that right now, they do have to move, but in the next couple of seconds.
And this is the thing, we see the zone in the top left of the map as well. It's actually ending between the bridge and the building, where currently Exo, Cloud9 and Aurora are coexisting. Huge fights are gonna be across this bridge, and underneath this bridge, as we see right now, GoNext actually lost 2 people to, I believe, yeah, VP again showing up on a kill feed. They have nothing to lose, and they're saying, we can frag. We might not have done it before this game, but we might as well do it this game.
I mean, Izzadan's still alive, but the reality is that's 2 points. If Virtus Pro can finish them, and they can, that have just gone to them. Virtus Pro moving up to 18th still. So far to go, but I'm noticing Lou's got a Kraber, so, you know, maybe that'll help them out a bit. Izzadan's still very low. Virtus Pro could find this last kill, as I believe they've spotted Izzadan, but haven't actually jumped up to finish this just yet. Instead, they're going to move up to the high ground. They are jumping on top of Alliance. Virtus Pro challenge Alliance for the high ground. It's just Lou left, but Alliance is already gone.
Alliance
takes
gone.
down Alliance with a surprise jump up on their bridge, however fell down, tried to go for the reset, found the solo as well. That could be another kill if they manage to survive this mayhem that's about to unfold, as Complexity is
triple staring.
Go next enak banget itu
And
posisi.
Izadin strikes back. Go next, managing to survive for that
Dia
long.
ngapain
Now have taken out
muncul
both
pula?
Slayer
Lu
and
diem
Zack
aja di situ,
Mazer.
kocak.
So Virtus Pro, who were on this huge run, now sit in 18th as Go Next will unfortunately go down. But Go Next, pretty safe for now. They're not safe, they're pretty safe in 8th.
Depending on how much the scores move up, they might just have made it themselves into the next round. Gaming Gladiators as well on 43, as Go Next was on 44, I believe. Right now it's coming down to light to make sure they stay up at this game, because 10 teams alive in Zone 6 closing is crazy.
That was it, the point. MT taking out Lufka has pushed Shopify Rebellion into 10th. If Shopify Rebellion can hold on to this, they will be punching their ticket to Championship Sunday. Cloud9 sitting in 12th, right behind Falcons right now. By the way, Falcons, having dropped to 11th off of that, will absolutely be seen in Elim Round 2.
Yeah, Cloud9
Virtus
also
Pro.
on the cusp of making it past that. Virtus Pro is actually eliminated. They tried for the miracle
Tetap
run.
nggak bisa
They
ya
did a
sih.
good effort.
They did a good-
Couldn't
top 10
quite
dia.
make it, but it was, we saw signs of life. If they can bring that energy into the next round, that'll be good for them.
There's got to be hope for Virtus Pro. I think it's a sobering moment, but they were cooking something. Gaming Gladiators getting some friends back into the game to hold on to their 9th place position right now. They could absolutely still survive this game. Well, you know other teams are already on the hunt. Blast's going to make it down to the floor safely.
Proton bisa
They're
sih
being
masuk.
shot at from the bridge. EXO right above them. Aurora right above them as well. What a sobering moment it
Gaming
must be to
Daman.
realize that Aurora, terror of EMEA, sits right above you. Gaming Gladiators, they've held that title, but right now, they've got to play small like they didn't.
Koiful, MT, and Sino sitting quite safely here. The zone does end in front of them. What I'm mainly looking for here, though, is the bridge, because that point and on top of the roof will be the two teams that will look down and shoot everyone, right?
Depan
And as we see
muka.
Shopify Rebellion getting naded out, as all the top teams are now
Depan
pushing
kamu,
their
Ple.
attention to them. Teams, however, inside of the building, sitting quite comfortably because the zone ends quite near them.
Dah, di
Shopify
situ aja.
Rebellion
Nggak
could be
bisa
in a
tuh.
spot to win this game, but on low ground, it's going to be a really tough one. Frag right on the outside. Liquid Alienware going to go down. That leaves them in 7th. Shopify Rebellion attempting to survive. Currently hold the 10th place spot and are climbing over the wall. Gaming Gladiators to take on Furia, but Furia are striking back. Furia, who have called so many. Madness takes out Lufka, and Gaming Gladiators are out. Furia take down another.
They take down another as well, ending their run a little bit early. Could they have made it? I don't know. Cloud9, however, still aiming with 37 points right now. They're pushing for it. They're pushing for top 10. Shopify on 41. Two teams that are trying their best to make it as Sorcerer goes down.
Shopify Rebellion, they've moved into 10th. How much further can they make it? Now that C9 has lost a member, Shopify Rebellion, this could be their game right now. Looking over the wall,
Furianya.
Furia, the Reapers of the lobby. They take out Shopify Rebellion. Furia shutting down
kameranya
and
ngapain?
left things open for Cloud9.
Cloud9.
Now with Furia
Bisa sih masuk
going
itu
down,
Cloud9.
Cloud9 out.
Furia masuk.
It's just going to be Keon left.
GG.
And Aurora coming
Masih
in.
bisa swap armor.
In the ring. Oirein still alive, still with the prayer of this Mastiff gonna go down. And it's Aurora who take the final win. First place
Gendeng.
winners round 1.
Iku ngopo?
As the beast
Gendeng. Iku apa cuk?
Bridge could have been one of the teams closing it out. However, Aurora on the building where the zone pretty much ended at, held the rooftop, dropped down and killed everybody. I even think they took out a member of C9 as before they closed out that game. They've had a phenomenal run in this series. I believe that pushes them up almost 100 points, dominating. You know, this sends a statement into the final rounds. We say, in a good lobby, we are owning. We're owning right now. You guys better be prepared for us because we are going as number 1 into Championship Sunday.
I mean, there is a
Ada ini
reason
nggak,
why
apa
they
namanya?
have been known
Head to head gitu kayak kemarin.
beasts in EMEA. The fact that Gaming Gladiators were sitting below them,
so
knowing that Aurora were up on high ground.
TSM
on
udah
high ground
aman.
of all things. 19
Gitu.
points for Aurora, 12
Falcon
points for Guild.
nanti main.
Let's talk about the
Pandandut
Reapers
main.
of this last
Green
lobby.
main.
Furia, 26 points.
Anjir,
26
Furia
points, you might say.
Gendeng,
19 kills is what I'm looking at.
19
They
kill,
took
Cok.
out team after team, and not only did
Dia
they take out the
beneran
teams,
pengen
they
main
actually
di
took
final
out the
langsung
teams
daripada
that were struggling to make
itu.
top 10. They were on their tournament lives in this round, you know, and it was rough.
Oke.
All right, Graceful, it's time. These These are your teams that
Ya,
will be
benar.
moving on to Championship Sunday. Aurora clearly have made it. Enter Force 36, Guild, Furia,
Falcon,
Alliance, TSM, Liquid
Giveaway open.
Alienware,
Let's
Gaming
fucking go.
Gladiators. Go next to make it, and Shopify Rebellion having swooped in at the last moment to take that Falcons spot, pushing Falcons and below into Elim rounds two.
Ya, hot drop. Buruan.
Many teams didn't make it. Cloud9, Falcons, and 100 Thieves really close.
Iya
Only, one
Kita
little better
akan
fight
delete
there.
Wikipedia.
If we didn't lose that fight there, they would have been in. However, those top 10 are all looking strong and have had their moments. And even Shopify made it at the end from the waters. But the one I'm looking for most, Aurora always makes me happy. They've showed their true form in this tournament.
This has been one of Aurora's best lands so far. Yeah, 100%. I'm shocked by what we've already seen by Aurora, and I'm really happy for them because this comes off the back of them traditionally struggling to perform at land.
Yeah.
So the fact
lawan
that
di sini nih.
I don't know what it is
Nah.
because they're from Europe, but the fact that we're in Japan
Sini
seems
kok.
to be helping somehow.
Karena gue nanti
They have
pergi
been,
jadi gue nggak bisa.
I think they're one
Oke,
of the teams
cuma
that
ini
have been
doang.
working really well with their community across the world,
TSM.
Japan included. I think I've seen even a little bit of Japanese tweets and whatnot. Who knows? And I think that they are
Finalnya
loved by
besok.
everyone. Not only because
Ini
of how
udah
kind
masuk ya
and
nih.
nice they are, and very cute as well, but because of how good they are. They have been phenomenal, and they've shown it in this tournament. Throughout the whole thing, they might have had a
Nunggu di
little bit
sini
of
nih.
a
Nunggu ini
break,
nih.
let's just say that.
Ini
But if they can
nanti.
keep this form up, they could even take this whole thing home.
Aurora Socials are
Mana?
going to have a field day.
Nunggu ini nih.
Oh yeah.
They're
Nunggu
going to
nanti jam
have a
3.
really good time. They have had a
Hah,
fantastic
so
in the winners bracket, and congratulations to Aurora. I think that they're going to be going into
hot
championship
drop.
Sunday
Oke, gue
with a
ikutan
lot of
dah.
confidence, and the best
Hot
part
drops.
is the confidence of not, which they will have. They're also going to have the best draft position.
Oke, dah ya.
That's true.
That's huge.
Drafting is very
Kelar.
important because now you're going.
Nunggu
Now you're
besok
dictating the pace
kita
of the game.
lompat
Lots of
lagi
times
final.
you're wondering whether or not, hey, can I play this in this
See
lobby? Will I
you,
get what
see
I
you
get
next
normally for
stream.
free? Will my macro work the same way? But when
And
you're
apa
coming
ya?
in
Ya benar.
first,
And
you're feeling pretty good.
bye bye.
This was amazing from